Call Alan Robson's Night Owls now.
0191 488 3188.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Yeah, that's where I am now. Spread the word, for heaven's sake. Now, you know, I asked before, can you finish off a sentence? And the sentence was, it's so warm. David McMenemy says, it's so warm that managers of companies have become deluded with the heat to allow women to take off time from work whilst on their period. Nice to see you back, by the way. Funny thing is, David being male, obviously no comprehension fully of what the problem is. However, Jean is. And Jean says that she's 31 and she suffers from an unpleasant time when the month swings in that direction. However, she says, I think it's idiotic to think that women should take time off when all over the world, every woman that she knows just gets on with it. There you go. Or do they? Or men, do they perhaps pass on any of the misery to you? Maybe, perhaps. Just thinking. Anyway, let's get cracking because Jan is with us and she's in Newcastle upon the Tyne. Hello, Jan.
Yeah, Reece, Alan.
I'm very well, thank you kindly.
No, I had to phone in because I missed you on the night out.
Well, hey.
When you went.
No, absolutely. Well, I'm just glad to be back on a Sunday. Fingers crossed we get a few more days in the future.
Well, you should do, because I'm back.
Well, there you are. That's the full set right there.
But, Alan, do you know what I've been up to?
No, tell me everything.
Right, I've done 2 pamper hampers.
Right.
Give one to Fact Cancer in
lovely.
the Metro Centre.
Yeah.
Give one to the big pink dress guy who's running the Great Northern.
Yeah, I'm going to see him in a week or two. Yeah.
Right, I delivered a big hamper. I've never seen his face.
Brilliant.
Wow. And it wasn't just a little hamper. Everything went in it.
So when you say a pamper hamper, what kind of stuff's in there?
It's all, you know, like luxury bath soaps and face masks and just a lot of things. And
all the kind of things when you're spoiling yourself.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Great.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's my anniversary for the heart attack on the 27th of this month, 5 years.
Right.
So I'm going to the Freeman and I've made another hamper, but this one's the wow factor because I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because I only had 9 minutes to live.
She must. They're terrifying. I mean, when you've been in that situation, just makes you realise, doesn't it? And you've been super kind back. Everybody says, though, once you've had one heart attack, you obviously, well, you're going to get another one, then another. People being as optimistic as they usually are. I mean, you haven't had any, not even a tingle since, have you, or have you?
No, you know how you've just said about the bosses in work and excuses to stay off and all of this?
Yes.
I had a heart attack and I went back to work in a week.
What?
So there's no excuse for nothing.
Right. No, I understand. If you can go to work on a heart attack, you can pretty much get yourself to work no matter what. Right.
But I tell you what, it's an amazing night that I'm talking to you, Alan. Missed you.
Yeah, I missed you too. I'm just so glad to be back, and we can talk about a million things now, and hopefully, if anybody's got any problems, get past the fact that I'm back and just talk about the normal stuff, what we would normally get into, because it has been traumatic, I think, for everybody, for me to be transplanted, taken from a place where everybody knew where I was, and there's still some people out there reaching, trying to find us. So let's get the word around.
I found you and I found the station.
Good.
I've been got me dab pressing all the buttons.
Hey, there you go. Brilliant. Hey, well, good luck. When are you going up to Freeman?
The 27th.
27th. Oh, to celebrate the anniversary.
The anniversary, 5 years. And then I'll be on the bridge for the Great North Runners.
Fantastic. Well, I'll be hosting a little bit further up, but I'll probably hear you cheer. Thanks very much for coming on, Jan. All the best, love.
Same to you.
Take care.
Alan.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And she's doing amazing things. And the whole heart attack thing, a guy explained to me that television commercial may not be right. You know, the one that says face, droopy and all the... he said that he had a heart attack. He didn't have any of those things. None whatsoever. And then he finds himself on the floor, doesn't know what's the matter. pick up your telephone and give me a ring if you've been in that situation. Asked you the question, it's so warm that... We had one David chipping in. Another David has said, it's so warm, I bought an ice lolly. I wasn't sure whether to eat it or insert it. It was so hot. Well, I'm glad that you are all right and you are well. We also had another couple coming in as well. And the other one was, and this is purely and simply, it's so warm that, and this is Tim Leonard. It's so warm that I'm down to me pants. Oh, Tim, for heaven's sake, don't put that image in my head. Mind you, I've got Matthew with me next. He is 7 years old, and he is in Durham. Hello, Matthew.
Hi.
Hello, mate. What can I do for you tonight?
First time caller. Good. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Dad.
Matthew's the first time caller.
I gathered. That's cool.
Yeah, obviously, Dad's glad to hear that you're back on the airwaves.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, it's been a miss, well, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's saying they don't know what to do across the rest of the week. It starts like Night Owls is back, and then whoop, it's gone again. I know.
Well, Matthew wants to tell you what he's been up to this weekend. So.
I would love to find out. Come on, Matthew. What have you been up to?
I've been hiding books with my mum and dad.
Right.
In Totwell Park.
Great.
And the idea is to hide books for other children to
find. And the idea is to hide books for other children to find and then we hide them.
Oh, I see. That's great. So were you hiding in a hedge or something, up a tree? Where'd you go?
On park benches.
All right, yeah.
Up the trees.
Yeah, but were you not frightening old age pensioners climbing behind their benches and...
No.
They'd think you're trying to steal their sandwich or something. That's scary. Scary if you're a pensioner. Saltwell Park's lovely. Problem is, again, exactly what I said before. It's lovely when there's you and your friends there, but I bet there was about 200,000 people in the park today.
There's quite a few in there.
Crazy. I know, that's how it gets. You lot had a good time, though. I mean, you got time off work so that you can spend some time with Matthew.
Yeah.
I'm camping
out, and this is our first time.
Wow.
In the garden all together. And
that's brilliant.
Do you recommend any good camping spots?
Any good?
Camping spots.
I'm not hearing that last bit. Can you try again?
Places to camp.
Places to camp. Oh, yeah. There's lots of lovely places to camp. There's a place called Chopwell Woods, and I know you're in Durham, and Chopwell Woods it's probably slightly north of you. Also, of course, best place you can possibly go is the Lake District, but you got to get across there is the thing. Have you camped in your garden to practice yet?
We're doing that.
That's what you're doing now?
Uh-huh.
Right, so are you eating proper camp food and everything, which is usually lots of beans and chips?
No, we've had
pizza. Now that's a cleaner, wiser, and less stinky. That's the best way to go. Beans can be a bit stinky, especially if your dad's in there with you. That's the thing. That's. So you enjoyed it. You got a campfire out there, have you?
Yeah, we've got the chimney.
We've got the chimney around.
Oh, the little chimney thing. Like this. Well, I'm just realising this is Durham. How posh is that? You got one of them fancy gadgets. Amazing. So do you cook on them, or is that just for heat? Nobody knows.
Just for heat.
Just for heat, all right. Not that you need a lot of heat, but I'd imagine the temperature's probably gone down a bit since you started. That's fantastic. I'm so jealous. I wish I was camping with you. That's brilliant. We're going to have to do that one night.
We've got a hot tub as well if we get really cold at night.
You got a hot tub? How rich are you? Are you related to Kim Kardashian thing? That's amazing. Hot tub. I'm just shouting over to Tony Hollywood McShane next door. We've got to do a live outside broadcast from their hot tub. We've got to broadcast live from this because I'm guessing you own half of Durham, do you? I mean, do you have huge amounts of land up into the mountains where your horses run free.
We've got mountain lions.
Mountain lions, wow! And you're brave enough to go camping where there's mountain lions. How good is that? Fantastic. Well, Matthew, thank you very much for talking. Dad and Mum, thanks for helping out as well. That's fantastic. Matthew's first-time caller. Hope it's not going to be the last. And I'm not kidding about that. Let's think about if and when we get back to working right across the week, let's do a live show from your house.
Anytime.
Love to do that, and we'll bring the pizza. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Owen.
Right, cheers, Matthew. Bye-bye. Oh, how nice is that? Blimey, do you think they own Durham? Blimey, we've hit on some money there. Have to keep in with them. 0191 488 3188. Can't believe that. That's amazing. The thing that I suggested, and I want you to finish this line for me if you would. It's been so warm. Then add whatever you like. Love this from Chris, the truck driver from Wallsend. No, that's Waka. But Wallsend, we're going to have to say it now that Chris has named it. It's been so hot in my truck that my sausage, beans and chicken drumsticks were all stuck together. Isn't that a nightmare? You're pulling and tugging at your clothes. No, I know exactly what he means. And I would have thought it would be milkshakes in this kind of weather rather than still sticking to your standard trucker's diet. Anyway, we got Christopher, who is in Ashington in the glory that is Northumberland. Hello, Christopher.
Hey, Alan, how are you doing?
I'm very well, but I gather you've had a bit of a predicament. What's up?
I've got ghosts in my house, and when I went to bed the other night, it pulled us out of bed.
Well, and you sure this wasn't a dream? You
No,
were awake?
I was wide awake. It's done some damage because it threw us into the wall.
What?
Fast asleep.
So hang on, before any of this, is this a long-running thing? Is this brand new? What's
happening?
happening?
It's been going on for a while. I'll not go back upstairs now.
Right. So tell me, how did it start and when did it start?
It started when the landlord took the heating system out, the old back boiler.
All right, yeah.
And since, I've just had glasses smashed and all sorts.
Right. And have you been to see anybody to try and get it stopped, or?
My mum's been out, which is a medium, tried to do something on the house, and that hasn't worked. It's just too strong.
Right. Well, in which case, why don't you or she or both of you go to one of the spiritualist churches and get a whole batch of them to come out together? That might work. If not, obviously, you can go to churches and they have exorcists, but you need to prove that you've got something first. Do you have any proof, any photographs, any recordings, anything?
I've just got a couple of people. I've seen it, even my younger brother.
Right. When you say a couple of people have seen it, what is it?
It's like a man that stands over the bed in the night time.
Right.
And then downstairs you've got like children. Sometimes you can hear them laughing.
Right.
It's just really, really scary.
It certainly is. So this is your house? You live there on your own?
Yeah, it's an old miner's house.
Right, well, there you go. Ashington's loaded with stories like this because obviously you're directly above a lot of the workings to pits in Ashy as it stands. I think what you probably need is the house to be blessed and for the whoever's or whatever's there. A lot of people don't understand, but these spirits that are in there, and you mentioned the most common time that anybody will suffer any ghostly habnabs is when somebody changes the energy of a house.
Yeah.
It may be that miner's spirit was there all along, and then all of a sudden the kitchen's turned around, the walls being knocked down, and everything's completely different.
Yeah, it's had a new kitchen put in and all.
There you go. So the energy's got to move in a different way, and because it's not happy having to do that, it's kicking up a bit of fuss. And the thing about chucking you out of your bed, though, what's that? What exactly? Talk us through it. You're fast asleep in bed.
Yeah, the next thing you know, you feel like somebody's just grabbed your leg.
Right.
Sitting upstairs, and naturally I woke up and I started screaming.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you just get chucked into the wall. It's cracked the wall.
Whoa.
And then the next thing you know, you get a telly remote going flying across the room.
Right. But you're not seeing the thing that's doing it.
When I got myself back up, it stands in the corner by the chair.
Right.
Same man.
Saying ma'am.
It's a man, yeah.
Oh, it's a man. Right, okay. I think the thing you've really got to do then, I mean, if it's getting to this stage, we don't want to put you at any kind of risk.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've already been risked enough. If I were you, I'd go to the nearest church to you. You don't have to believe in that church. You don't have to...
I've been with Violent, the spiritualist one.
Not the spiritualist one. Your standard church, the nearest church to your house in Ashy, right?
Right.
Just go to that church and say to them, this happened to me. Few of us have seen it. We need somebody to come out and bless the house.
Yeah.
Now, they will come out, hopefully this week. They'll come out, bless the house. Hopefully, if they're doing it properly, they'll bless every room.
Right.
Now, the blessings usually work. And I know a lot of people say, well, how can they? And I'm not sure of the technicalities of it, but the blessing seems to calm the house. I don't believe it gets rid of what's there. It quietens it down and it makes the spirit realize that there's more going on there than something to be annoyed about, and everything will calm down for a little while, hopefully forever.
Yeah.
And then you can
So
get
what
on
your
with
mum
get
did-
on with your life.
I can't remember what you call them, but you might know what they are. You burn them and they make like that horrible smell.
Well, you use incense, candles, water, salt. There's a whole range of different things that you can use for an exorcism. But the bottom line is they will treat your property with the stuff that they believe. If it doesn't work, and this is the key point, if it doesn't work, what they do allow is for you to have the facility to go back to the church and say, really grateful that you came out. However, it's still nasty. It's still causing me misery. Could we get the exorcist out? And there's one exorcist that covers from Leeds up to the tip of Scotland.
Right.
He's a senior priest in the church, Catholic church, in fact, and he'll come up and he'll get shot. Simple as he can get shot of it for you. Problem is, you need to hire the guy that knows what they're doing. The blessing, 95% of blessings make things better.
See, what I did find a little bit of the history out with it. I know somebody died in the garden before I took the house on.
Did you know his name?
I don't. It was somebody that messaged us on Facebook when I tried to find a bit of information out.
If you can find out the guy's name, talk to him. You know, then you would say, if his name's David, say, just for sake of argument, David, I'm sharing this space with you. I don't mind you staying here. Just don't hurt me and don't cause any problems. I'm quite happy for you to share my space. Now,
Speak to him.
yes, speak to him. And the other thing that seems to work, if you want to protect, there's a few. This is weird and it sounds bonkers.
Yeah.
But if you want to protect the place where you sleep, because that's where you were attacked essentially.
Yeah.
Describe your bedroom to me, just furniture-wise. You've got a door. Is the door to the left or the right when you go in?
To the left, Alan.
To the left. Okay, you go in the bedroom. Where's the bed from the door?
You walk in. It's on just.
It's on the opposite wall?
Yeah.
In the middle or at
the
once?
middle of the room, yeah.
Right in the middle, okay. You're coming in from the left. Bedside tables?
It's two wardrobes at the side of the bed.
Two wardrobes at the side of the bed. So nothing for you to put anything on?
No, and that's not, no. And then the telly's on the wall.
Telly's on the wall behind it. Have you got anything under the telly?
Just a pair of drawers for I've got your view box on it.
Right, okay, fine. What you're going to need to do, have you got any space either side of the bed to put a little stand or a little something you could put something on?
Yeah, I can do that, yeah.
Right. What I want you to do, and this is, just try this for a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to burn the house down because this involves a candle. So make sure if you put a candle on, it's nowhere that anything can. You kind of set your telly on fire, but it has to be on the table, on the drawers that's opposite the bed.
Yeah.
If you have a flame there, these are all natural chemical elements. You put a flame at one side and you put water on the other. So if you've got a spare cereal bowl, fill it full of water.
Yeah.
If you've got a few dried leaves, put the dried leaves on the water.
Right.
Candle on the opposite side of the room, and make sure that you keep your door closed.
Right.
Don't know whether you do or you don't at night time.
Yeah, I keep it closed anyway for the dogs.
Fine. Oh, well, there you go. So And I know if you let the dogs in, they probably drink the water as well. But however, the water beside you, flame opposite side of the room, this is real old-fashioned stuff, but it seems to calm the energy down in the room.
Yeah, I'll give that a shot.
Now, what it doesn't mean is it's not getting rid of anything.
Yeah.
It's just showing that that's somebody else's space.
Yeah.
So it's the equivalent of it.
About your pets, I mean, the two dogs bark when they see them.
They go crackers. Well, I mean, this is the problem, because if the entity's not getting in there, it might cause more mayhem with the dogs outside. But if you want a quiet night, hopefully that'll help you short term, but just make sure you go and get the guys around to do it. Guys, when I learned how to be an exorcist, and it took me about 7.5, 8 years, it comes down to weird things that you wouldn't think really work. Things like how a rhyme can make a difference to a ghost. You think, well, that's not...
I've heard that before, actually, yeah.
Straight. But the other thing that works is energy. It's all about energy. And for example, if a spirit is there and you're frightened of it, shout at it in a really unpleasant, stop that! Get away from... Because that's negative energy that you're firing at it.
Yeah, I mean, I am like that, to be honest with you. I'm terrified of it.
Yeah, but make sure you let it know. Get away from me. Go, don't want you in this house. Get away.
Get louder with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the thing is, it's feeding on your fear. Let it feed on your anger instead. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Worth a thought. Anyway, I hope I've been a little bit of use. Fingers crossed you'll have an easier tonight. Don't forget, water right beside you, right close.
Yeah.
Few dead leaves, not living leaves. Ones that have fallen. Dead leaves
The church.
in there. Wherever they come from, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't believe in Christianity, so...
I don't, to be honest.
Doesn't
I'm in
ma-
prison,
But it doesn't matter to me. The fact is, the church will help you.
Yeah.
And they've got the people that know the craft how to do it, which is weird if you think about it, because
It is. It really is.
they should be the ones saying, well, that doesn't work. But they hire all the exorcists, so you've got to go down their road. Do what I say. Ultimately, you'll be clean, okay?
Yeah, I will. I'll give you an update once.
Please.
How far I get on.
Love to. Thanks, Chris. Take
No
care.
problem, mate. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, my goodness. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break now, and then we're going to be talking to Anne, who's in Sunderland, and I think she's got a funny story. This was from my Wikipedia page. It said, Robson has been selected to be part of the Mars One mission, taking part in the second phase of the program. He's due to depart for the Red Planet in 2022 and is in talks with NASA regarding relaunching Night Owls Sunday to Thursday. From then, the NASA spokesman said, Night Owls never ending. It was the end of a chapter. We hopefully can be at the start of a new one in a world-first way. Now, I haven't got an official date. The essence of what they're saying is not too far away from what actually is happening. I'm still got a few hoops to go through. Physically, I'm all right. Mentally, it seems I'm all right. There's a few other things that I have to do, but they're looking at that, and it depends what else is going on everywhere else, if you know what I mean. Sano from Wallsend says, it's so warm, I even gave my legs an airing. I've been wearing shorts all weekend. Great to have you back. Yeah, everybody does different things when the sun comes out. We do behave in a different manner. Craig in Peterlee, it's so warm, these fields are absolutely stinking. Why do they use this stuff? It's uncalled for in this heat. And I know exactly what you mean. Round about where I am, they've done all the fields and turned them into them big circular things. But that means that all the flies that live there are now flying round my face. Can't open a window without 5,000 of these little black things coming. Corn flies, I think they're called. And regarding the stinky stuff, they're preparing the ground for the next crop, I guess. And that's what comes of living near the countryside. That's just part of the game, I'm afraid. 0191 488 3188. Got a little bit of a chat with Darren Hayes from Savage Garden coming up after I've had a chat with Anne from Sunderland. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, sweetheart. What can we do for you tonight?
Welcome back anyhow.
Thank you, lover.
It's 11:30 to wait a week, like.
Well, I understand. And any chance I've got to do something about it, I will. Don't you worry.
Good.
Working on it. Okay.
Right. Now, this new carer came on the night and she says, she says, I can see two spirits in here.
Right.
So she says, I can't say what they are. I says, well, one's my husband and one's my mum. She says, they both don't come together. So I says, I've got some more spirits in the kitchen. So she says, I can't see them. I says, no, because the cupboard door's closed.
Excellent. Good on you. Well done. Keeping your whiskey hidden, are you? That's the business.
Oh, well, I've got a few in case people come and
No, of course, you've got to, you know.
see your coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. Bottom line, though, is what an odd thing for a carer to say if she wants you to, to feel comfortable and at home to talk about.
Yeah.
You'd have thought she'd have kept her mouth shut about that. You already know they're there, though, do you?
Oh, yes. But, I mean, as you say, she says, I can see spirits, and then I say, yes, but I've got tomorrow in the cupboard.
Right.
But,
but you're not getting any of them. Don't think about it.
No, I don't.
No, I bet. No, what I meant was you weren't going to share them with your carer either, I wouldn't have thought.
No.
I don't think so. Say that for special occasions. So how are you doing? You all right?
I am fine.
Good. That's
all right for a ganny through this year.
That all right for a ganny is a good place to be. Hey.
My daughter's just had a baby this morning.
Oh my goodness! Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how many times a ganny are you now?
4. And I've got a great grandson.
That's amazing. So little boy, little girl today?
Little boy.
Little boy, brilliant. Alan's a lovely name, you know.
I know.
Which one's she chosen then?
She hasn't chosen any yet because, we don't know if she's going to keep it or not.
Oh, well, we keep our fingers crossed that all works out for the best, whatever happens.
Well,
you never know these days, do you?
Hope she can, but doubt it.
You doubt it? Right, okay. Well, let's just hope for the best. And thank you very much for calling in.
Thanks very much, Alan.
You take care, darling. Bye-bye. Oh, good gracious. You tell you something good, and yet, is it so good? Well, you can never tell. Now, I mentioned just before talking to Anne there about Darren Hayes. And I don't know whether you've ever come across him, from a band called Savage Garden. Now, he and I have a little bit of a thing. Whenever he's come in to see me, he's obsessed with the beauty of the northern accent. And I know all over the world there are people speaking in such a tongue, and Darren just has this thing because he thinks he can do the accent. Maybe not so well.
I totally relate to the northern thing. You know, I love, it's weird, anyone north of London I tend to just relate to, and it's that working class thing. And my dad, it gave me a real bond with him afterwards because his only concern for me was that I would have a hard life, and he would never wish a hard life on his son.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a great way to think about it. It's weird because I can remember people in the newspapers 10 years ago being described as like there was a certain type of game, Boy George and blah, blah, blah. You've never had to face any of that. You've just been Darren Hayes right from the beginning, and everything's been cool.
Yeah, and I've never lied about myself either. I mean, the thing is with me, But
you've never used it as a tool, because I think some people have tried.
No, and it's for me, it took me a long time to work out who I was. When I did, found myself lucky enough to live in a country where you can have a civil partnership. That was amazing, changed my life. Yeah. Married a great guy from Nottingham, actually, who says cuddle, puddle and bath. How could you not love that? But, that's about as far as the cliche runs for me.
If you go to Nottingham, you'll find a few that do.
Yeah, I know. Or, what's funny? Yeah, maybe. What's funny is I'm a bit obsessed with the accents, actually, here.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of love to pick them all out. Like, I do an impersonation of the guy that does the overdubs on Big Brother.
He's from our part.
Yeah, and he says, like, Dear 48 AM, all of the housemates. I mean, it's terrible impersonation, but it's...
Can I just give you a
help me.
suggestion here?
Dear
Don't say that when you're out
Don't say
on the street. Certainly, I really hope.
Do you reckon I'll get
so.
beaten up?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really?
you'd be chased anyway.
Yeah. Well, I love you guys, so that's all right.
Now the winning back. Maybe Mars and back, you never know. You can never tell. Incidentally, it is just after the hour of 11 o'clock here on Greatest Hits Radio. Forget about the time. We're going to have a ball between now and 2. Now, every single person that comes on the show gets a chance to win a T-shirt, okay? And all of the names will go in the hat. One will be chosen by the end of the night. However, we also have our fabulous Night Owl mugs that we give away every night. But I'm going to set you a competition. So I'm going to give you 4 clues between now and the end of the show. And you've got to tell me the thing that you have in your house that answers our puzzle. I'm going to give you 4 words. Okay, 4 answers, 4 words to 4 clues. You've got to work out what word you can put in front of all of those words, the same word, something you have in your house. You all have it in your house. See if you can work it out. The first clue is this. What you call a place that actually makes and distributes money. That's your first clue. Don't even think of trying to answer this till you hear all 4 clues, because I want all 4 answers. Can't get this right unless you've got all 4 answers, okay? First clue. What you call a place that actually makes and distributes money. That is your first clue. 3 more clues to come. One of them is an absolute... I'd be very surprised. You'll get the answer to it. The link... tenuous. However, let's see if you can work it out. First clue, I think, relatively easy. 3 more to come if you happen to be a genius. Meanwhile, we're heading across, well, going to mountain country, in fact, because Sean is there. Hi, Sean.
Hello, son. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much.
I just word of mouth that you were back on, you know. I didn't know nothing about it.
Well, you're going to have to keep your nose...
I've been trying all week to get through to you, and nobody does it.
Well, we got you. Hurrah. Cheers, Sean. Glad to have you back. I'm all right. What are you talking about tonight, then, mate?
I'm on about the Brexit, that America want to take over this country.
Oh, explain.
Boris Trump, I call him.
Oh, right. So, why do you think America want to take us over?
I don't trust America. There's something about it, like.
Right.
They're on about the saying that, we don't want to take over the NHS, which is wrong. I think they do. I think that's what they've got their eye on.
Right. Well, there's a lot of money potentially because of all the chemicals that is sold to the NHS. I mean, billions a year. So there's big money to be had. It's just, what would they benefit from taking it over? Because it's a problem to our government, isn't it, trying to keep it going with the amounts of money that it needs?
I don't trust, but I just don't trust the Conservatives. I think they're going to run this country down, like,
right,
totally, like.
Well, I'm hearing different things, because it's funny, because in one of the American newspapers, there's a thing from commenting about a British newspaper. The British newspaper is quoted as saying, Donald Trump's going to do a quick deal to help Britain. That's what was written in the British press. And the American press has said, who said this? Who made this promise? We don't know anything about it, and it's just a slow news day. So one of the newspapers has decided to make something up, and obviously got found out. But interesting.
I mean, he wants to buy Greenland, didn't he?
I heard that too, and it's like...
So if he wants to buy Greenland, he's going to buy England, didn't he?
Can you imagine, though, some poor soul in Greenland saying he wants to... Who? I mean, doesn't everybody in Greenland have to want that to happen or something? They'd all be looking around saying, who's decided on this? I mean, does our government know? And how much would it cost you to buy an entire... Especially, I mean, if you're going to pick one, funnily enough, Iceland's got less snow than Greenland. Greenland's frozen.
Pictures, better frozen food.
Well, you could, if you want to make Greenland America's processing plant, I suppose. It's possible, who knows?
But I just don't trust them. Like, I really do. I really think there's something seriously wrong with this country now. Like,
well, I've been doing a little bit of digging, and the one thing that I discovered, and you've got Boris Johnson saying, I'm going to go to this G7 that's coming up with all the ministers from all the other countries, and he said Donald Trump wants Putin back. He thinks, well, you get the impression they're friends.
There you go.
And I suppose to have Russia on your side, if there is going to be a war with anybody, isn't a bad thing. However, Boris has asked if he can shut Parliament to delay Brexit by at least 5 days, possibly up to 5 weeks, maybe longer. In other words, this might never happen, you know.
So the MPs don't get paid for that?
It's whatever they spend during that 5 days, I guarantee will go slap bang straight on expenses. They're not going to miss out on a free Mars bar, are they? Let's be honest. I loved all that when the expenses scandal came out, and it was like, and you spend £137, and it was like 6 Mars bars, 2 topics. I'm thinking, whoa, hang on.
In 3 porno films.
There was a bit of that too, but it was like, who in their right mind would think? Well, I think the rest of the country wouldn't mind me having 6 topics this week. Whoa, buy your own topics. You're getting something like 90 grand a year, for heaven's sake. The least you can do is buy your own picnic for your cup
They'll
of tea.
probably get them free anyway if they advertise them.
Oh, dear.
I just don't trust them. Cricket today, I'm good at, like, I've been watching the cricket all day today. I was hoping that Australia would win the Ashes, like.
Why?
Why? Because I tell you what, hey, I think it was a big fix. Do you know that? Stokes should have been out 4 times.
Right.
And the referee and the umpire, he should have been LBW'd.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the only reason why, because they didn't have any reviews left. I think they should give them more than 3 reviews, like.
Well, you see, I don't. Everything you've said, I hear, and I'm kind of nodding, but I don't really understand what a review is because I don't follow cricket.
Well, they've got a review. They've got to touch that glove with, touch the bat with.
Oh, I see. So this is like the cricket equivalent of this VAR they've got in football.
Yeah,
is it?
Exactly.
I see. I understand.
But there's no amount that they can use in football though. They can do it as many times as they want.
Right. Sure.
But in cricket, they've only got 3.
No, because everybody I know that likes cricket's been saying, don't ring me, don't text me. It's all been, I'm watching it, leave it alone. And I've just been leaving people alone there. But
I mean, I cannot understand how they can bowl them all out for 67.
Amazing.
And then come in and just, to me, I can't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Right.
And then the umpire, he definitely should have put his finger up and said, you're LBW there, but he didn't. He left it. And it was totally LBW. I knew by looking at it was LBW.
Right.
So the umpire should have known better.
Well, that's him. Tell Sean, hey, they should have you on there.
That's his job, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, I'm just surprised you didn't want the England team to win.
Well, I don't really. I don't really know. I'm not a one for that. Like,
but
at the end of the day, everybody's got their own opinions.
For sure. Usually when any man puts his finger up, it's trouble. So, hey, lovely talking to you, Sean. Thanks for coming on, man.
Right. Cheers, mate.
All the best. Bye-bye. Been a really hot day. Before we go any further, the one thing I noticed that really goes amazingly well with a really hot day, and I can't fully understand why, maybe it's the island feel. It's anything remotely reggae, and I've got a nice one for you that you might not have heard for a while, from Maxi Priest.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Just remember that's where we are. And also don't forget on Tuesday during the day a chance for you to win an awful lot of money. I think it's up to £1,800, so get ready for it. Be very nice indeed. Okay, let us carry on. Our next caller, as promised, We are going to Wolverhampton, where we've got James. Hello, James.
Hello, Alan. Welcome back.
Thank you, mate.
Because I've been calling you I've been calling for 2 weeks.
Oh, blimey! Well, you're there at last. Hoorah!
Yes, hoorah! Yes, I've got two things to talk about tonight.
Okay, fair enough.
Rafa Benitez.
Yes.
Going. I don't know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, we're sitting second bottom in the Premiership.
Yeah.
And that's not good. That's not good because we spent half of the last season in the bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's just we just need somebody that's going to actually stand up to Mike Ashley and say, look, enough's enough, because he's giving Newcastle no money at all this season.
But the thing is, imagine if you were Rafa.
Yeah.
And you kept saying, look, are you going to give me a contract? We'll talk about it in 6 months. We'll talk about it in 4 months. We'll talk about it in 3 months. Oh, now's the time to talk about it. Well, we're not really sure. First chat, and nobody knows more about this kind of thing than me, really, because all of a sudden, even though I was successful, they pulled the plug, and you kind of go, oh, not been here before. This is odd. How did this happen? And you know, as soon as you realise you've got no money coming in and you've got all the money still going out, I can't blame Rafa for saying, who wants to hire me? And he did, and the Chinese came and I presume made him an offer that no matter what he does now for the rest of his life, he's probably going to be secure, his family's going to be secure, he's probably not missed a mortgage payment, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And could you really just say to Rafa, hey, no, just keep trying. He wasn't getting the backing that he wants. And I know they've spent a bit of money. And I didn't see the goal today that Joe Linton apparently scored. I've seen Joe Linton in a few games thus far, and it's looked like he couldn't hit a barn door, you know, even if he was standing in front of it. However, did you see the game today?
No, I missed it today.
Right, well, he scored, so congratulations to him. Maybe this will be the breakthrough. You know, there's nobody who loves the black and whites who don't want them to do well. It's just we keep buying people that nobody's heard of.
Yeah.
If we kept buying players that everybody's heard of because of their success, well, I could kind of get it. But it's like, I tell you what, because there was a load of players available, like Shane Long, Ings was available. There was half a dozen others that Newcastle could have bought with experience of the Premiership. Or alternatively, the one that personally I would have liked to have seen stay, Rondon. Yeah. And of course, he's the first guy that he took to China. That guarantees him a little bit of success when he gets there, because I think he's a great player, Rondon. And so now the pair of them will be financially viable for the rest of their lives. Good luck to the pair of them, I say.
Yeah, okie dokie. My other thing, Alan, is I've got a young lady friend, and on Thursday I found out that she was going through a divorce.
Right.
And she's in serious financial difficulties. I found out as well that she's possibly going to get evicted from her house tomorrow. Right. And that's all through her ex-husband.
Yeah.
He's left her in financial difficulties, and she's having the house, the bailiffs going and that, and it's just, I just feel so sorry for her. I mean, she was almost in tears on Thursday when I saw her, and I just felt so sorry for her. I wanted to give her some money, but I'm flat broke myself. You know what I mean at the minute?
Sure.
Because I'm due some money which I'm not getting, and it's the benefit office that aren't giving it me.
Right. Right. I have been in the position of divorce often in my life. I mean, every now and then. I've got a fifth wife now that I'm very happy with and hope that I can keep that way. However, I have a lot of experience of this. I also have a lot of experience of people that have asked me for money a lot.
Yeah.
And they have been in trouble a lot, and a few of them have been going through financial difficulties because of a divorce, and can you give me some money? If you give anybody like that money, and I'm not saying you're going to ask for it back at any point, if you do, it's gone forever. Because divorce is a bottomless pit. And to be honest, if they're taking stuff away from her,
Yeah.
wait till she's got absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Because they'll keep coming after her until she has absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And if you keep giving her money, they'll
Yeah.
keep coming after her even more. But while she's still got stuff, because as long as I had stuff, they kept chasing until it all went somewhere else.
Yeah.
With respect to this, say to her, I would love to help. I've got, as you know, I've got no money coming in at all. The way to do it is, if you want to help her at all, be there, be the voice that she can, somebody she can talk to. If you want to take her out for a coffee, take her out for a meal, do all of those things. Never let her pay, all of that. But don't give her a sack of cash. First of all, how long have you known this lady?
About 6 months.
That sounds great, and you're building up a lovely friendship, I hope.
Yes, I mean, yes, we are.
Good.
I mean, I even told her that I love it, that I loved her the other night. That's the first time I've ever that I've told a lady that I love her for a long time. And she said the same thing back. She said to me that she loves me as well. So
beautiful. Hey, well, this could be the beginning of something lovely and long lasting. I hope that that's the case. But in which case, if you're going to do anything, tuck the money away. Let it be an amazing surprise for her once you two are together, and say, well, every week since you and I got together, I've put a little bit of money away. We've got this. Now, we can do whatever you like with it. We put it towards a property. We could put it towards a car. We could put it towards a holiday. What would you like? Your divorce is over now. It's all signed and sealed and delivered.
Yes.
What would you like to do? That's probably the best way of doing it, because, first of all, I don't know this woman, so therefore I don't trust her. I'm not knocking her because I don't know the lady, but I'm just saying I know you, and if the wrong kind of woman got hold of you, James, she could wrap you around her little finger, take everything you've got, and then move on to the next sucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
No,
I've actually been there, done that, got T-shirt, still wearing it.
Fine. So you're not going to do that again?
No.
Don't do anything with a money thing. And I know she's going to ask, maybe, at some point, can I borrow this, can I borrow that? Don't give her a penny you can't afford to lose, because you will not get it back.
Yeah.
But if you do that other thing, how lovely is it? Ever since I met you, I've been just tucking what I haven't got a lot, but I've tucked it all away, especially for us. That's a nice thing.
Yeah, and also what I do every week, I go to a disco. She goes to a disco where I go on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And when I win the raffle, there's only one person I give the raffle prize to when I win the raffle, and that's to her.
Right, nice.
She's really surprised when I give it. I mean, it lights her face up. I mean, when she's about, it makes me smile. It really makes me smile.
Good.
She's such a precious lady, Alan. She really is.
Well, you look after her as best you can, but do never put yourself at risk. All right?
Okie. Yeah,
all right?
Thank you, Alan.
No worries, James. Good luck. I hope it works out for you, man.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. Speak to you again.
Look forward to it. Cheers. Wolverhampton there, James. And I know that some of you are probably saying, oh, she might be the nicest person in the world. She might. Hope she is. Truly do. Alan, welcome back. Listen to your return last week. Didn't get the chance to message in, says Mark. Thank you, mate. Can you tell me what the derivation of not in a month of Sundays is? I'm sick of hearing people say, it's not been like this for a month of Sundays. Paul in Chester Street. Can somebody look up the derivation of that and come on and tell me about it, please? Give me a ring. 01914 488 3188. The derivation of not in a month of Sundays. And also, hello, glad to hear your voice again. One thing I hate about this hot weather is the big spiders come out, and they're ugly-looking things. Also, it is so warm. Are we getting a few it's so warms coming in too? It's so warm, you know it's hot when your skin flakes, when you scratch. I'm melting. And Rich in Stockton, great to hear again on the Greatest Hits Radio. I listened to you last week as well. Always a great listen. We need more nights off you here. I'll get there as quick as I can, man. And David Johnson, quick email to see if this email address is still usable. Yes, it is. It's also about wasps. I'm having a nightmare with wasps hanging around the bird table in my garden. Whenever I go to put food on for the birds, I'm having to waft wasps away. Nightmare, says David. Well, they live out there too. Where do you want them to be? I'd rather have them round me bird table, I think, than round my head in the house. 0191 488 3188. What are you going to talk about? We have Tony from Long Benton. But before that, whenever I hear a certain piece of music, you have to walk to the music. You find yourself unable to walk unless you walk on the beat, if that makes sense. And it's ever since they told you, or you saw maybe, in the film Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta picking his black Tanga underwear, and then so that he could go strutting down the streets to a very particular piece of music. The Bee Gees. I bet if you went to the loo when that was on, or if you're walking around walking the dog, I bet you were in time to the music, because you just can't help yourself. The Fog Nogs have just sent a message, and hang on, 2 tickles. The message says, great to hear your voice again. Missed you ridiculously. We need you back on Sunday to Thursday, though. Love the Fog Nogs. Thank you very much, and working on it. And we have Omar, who says, great to hear you back. Last week's show was like sitting down with an old friend. Onwards to more amazing things, absolutely. And he's looked up a month of Sundays for me. Then he said a month of Sundays. The expression is said to mean 30 weeks on average. 30 to 31 weeks. And that's the amount of time it would take for a month of Sundays to pass, if you think about it, because every week has a Sunday in it. For you to have 30 to 31 weeks with Sundays in them, takes 30 to 31 weeks, of course. Or 28 if it's a leap year, I suppose. So, a month of Sundays, that's what it means. Omar and Heben there, coming to our rescue. And also, please give my mum a shout out. She's called Julie McGuinness, and she loves your show so much. It would be a lovely surprise for her. And also tell her that I love her and my dad so very, very much. Thank you. So glad you're back. Claire McGuinness. Thank you, Claire. And thanks to the family as well. And this one says there's a photo here. I don't know whether I can find it. It's a text. When Alan was just on about spiders, I found this big lad on my wall early on from Scott in Wheatley Hill. I haven't been sent the photograph, but I'm sure Dawn next door will do that now that I've mentioned it. And Ross Batista. Ross and Celine are chilling in bed on a bank holiday weekend. Baby Lorenzo Blue, Lorenzo Blue, is asleep in bed. Looking forward to listening to some banter through the night with Alan. Thank you very much. Well, we'll do our darndest for you, because we've got Tony from Long Benton. Now, last week, his cousin was on, telling us all that he was buying a new toilet. And I think this is a bit of a follow-up. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Alan. You all right, mate?
Yes, I'm good. So what's happening then?
Oh, I'm just coming on to set the record straight, and I'm yet to clear my name. Last week, Peter called us a jack of all trades and a master in on, you see.
He did say that, that's true.
Aye, so I'm just yet to set the record straight about this netty and that.
Come on, let's have it.
So, I've never even touched his netty. I don't even know what he's on about. They're doing the house renovation.
Right.
And I've just done all the joinery work, you see, and I've had no bother with this netty after I've done his floors and that for him.
So you did his toilet floor and he's having a pop at you?
Aye, that's it. And he's saying, I'm sat here with him now.
So, in fact, you're a high-class carpenter.
That's me, Alan. My business has went down the floor since, well, down the pan, I should say, since teeth, everything,
Right, so you've got to put this right. So, what's the name of your business, then?
Oh, I'm just a self-employed. You see, I just work for different people.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Alan, it's Peter again, from Chocolate Park. What he's trying to say is he's still a jack of all trades.
Well, he's a joiner, isn't he?
Aye, that's me, aye. I'd have been touched netties on out like that, you see, and he just got ahead of himself.
Well, someone did, Alan, because it wobbles when I sit on it, and it's not good, you know, that.
That's not a good thing. That could lead to trouble further down the road, couldn't it?
Well, you go there for happy thinking, don't you?
And
you do this.
With Alan Robson on it. And
contemplating, you can do all of that. You can wonder what was Alan going on about when he said that. Absolutely, it's a thinking place, isn't it?
But then you start looking, and you think, then you blame the joiner.
Yeah, but is it not because the floor's not completely flat then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The net is absolutely fine. I'm blaming the joint of it because I'm rocking while I'm sitting on it. It wouldn't have that trouble.
Does sound like it's your fault. Hey, Tony, it does sound like you've put the wrong kind of wood down there or whatever. It's not flat.
No, it's as flat as a pancake, Alan. You can't get flat.
So why is the netty rocking then?
I think Peter's just had one too many on a weekend, you know, and he's getting a bit seasick when he's on there.
Yeah, so he's the one wobbling, not the toilet.
That's it. That's
Gotcha.
exactly what it is.
Gotcha. I'm with you, Tony. No worries. Your reputation is restored.
I'm happy with that. Alan?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the crack with ghost hunts? Have we got any coming up or not? So...
Yes, we're still going to be doing them. I need to work out. I still haven't had the grand meeting with the leader of this radio station. As soon as I do, that's one of the things I'm bringing up. We're going to try, obviously, and deliver as much as we did previously, probably in a different way, but that's the plan anyway.
Right. Can we invite Tony? Because Tony would love to go along because he loves to get the willies.
Right, okay. If that's his thing, we will certainly do that. Thanks for coming on, the pair of you. Appreciate your time. Now I've got to have, you know, the spider that they said had this on my wall today, Scott in Wheatley Hill. He sent me a picture of this spider. If that's kind of life size, that's a terrifying spider. I think it's just like your general big country house spider. The two front legs with the little hairies on it. So presumably they can sense you, or sense an orifice maybe, because we're told, aren't we, that if you've got an orifice, maybe in Tony's toilet in Long Benton, it sounds like there's more than one orifice there. If the wood's as dodgy as we're hearing about it, places for spiders to creep into, and we're told about we swallow them because they're looking for dark places in the night, which is why you should keep your sheets wrapped around you. But that's a big sucker. That one would not go in an ear. It wouldn't go up a nostril. It wouldn't go in any of the slightly tighter ones. But if that one in your mouth, could you imagine waking up in the early... Maybe tonight, one of you will wake up screaming with one of these decided to crawl. Yeah, see what I mean? Even if we don't have the odd ghost story on here, we can still worry you. And because that's what we're told. We're told these things do it, for heaven's sake. Now, we know that Bohemian Rhapsody's been an absolute blast of a film, and we're going to play you a song so you can sing along, because it's Queen, for heaven's sake. And just before that, we're trying to share you a few of the things that the stars have said on the Night Owls programme. So we thought we'd get a little quick chat with Brian May.
I would imagine right the way through the whole Queen thing that people were coming up saying, oh, I'd like you to do a little bit of this, I'd like you to do a little bit of that. I can even remember you, if memory serves, on a Lonnie Donegan album.
Yes, that's right. But that was one of the very few things that I found the time to do. I think one of the things of, one of the ways of accepting what happened with Freddie was I got as busy as I could. And the Queen thing did gradually kind of run down. It had to, there was no way we could be Queen without Freddie. And the benefit of it has been that I can now say yes to people if they do ask me to do things.
Right.
And I made a conscious decision that I would get out and I would interact with people. I would respond to challenges.
Right.
I would be in the world and not just be in my head, because I have a terrible tendency to do that.
Yes, because you can't go out that much, being as well known as you are, and obviously your wife being well known also, you tend to look inside a lot, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of that. I think it's just my natural tendency. I tend to be very...
Bit of a shy boy, Brian.
Well, I guess, wrapped up in my own stuff, and it takes a conscious effort to keep outgoing, and whenever it happens, I love it, and I just, I feed off it.
Yeah, now you guys are going to feed off this, because I defy you not to sing this song.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest hits radio.
And looking on the line, we've got Andrew, who is in Spennymoor. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Alan. 1 minute.
1 minute, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. What I will say, welcome back.
Thank you.
Your time off.
Cheers.
Secondly, I'm very, very disgusted with the hospitals.
Why? What's happened?
A couple of days ago, I had a baby sunburn.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much there. But under the aspect of the way people were treated by the staff in the hospital, they only had one midwife to deliver a full ward's worth of babies.
Cheapers, right.
He said he didn't have no staffing whatsoever. My wife, she had, we put some cream or something on her and sent her an asphyxiation twice.
What?
Whatever that word means.
It means it's kind of like choking, is my belief.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah.
I mean, was the baby okay, and is your partner well?
I'm maddened about it.
I mean, is everybody okay, though?
Yes,
Yes,
my
thank
baby's breathing and that, all right.
Good.
The facilities, that after you've had your baby, they give you a couple of hand towels. Go and have a shower. What with a couple of hand towels?
That's crazy.
We had 2 days' worth of grief, and when I went to make my comment to the nurse, she wasn't interested.
Right.
They were nowhere near interested about what was going on. Now, what's the point getting people in early and then turning around saying we haven't got the stuff, you can wait for queue, we've already set you off.
So the cream presumably is to get your wife warmed up, ready to deliver?
Yeah.
You presume, right.
And it was a burning type of cream we should never have put on.
Right. So, I mean, did the delivery go well? Was there any problems with it?
It went for 2 days. What should have gone within an hour went for 2 days.
Oh, my goodness, that's
Because
terrifying to start with.
everything went wrong down below or wherever.
Right.
But I didn't know. I'm just actually disgusted in the hospital system.
Have you put a complaint in about it? Because surely this can't be the norm for people having babies.
I'm not mentioning much on here.
Right, okay.
But I am putting a point over because
I think you should.
we've already spoke to pals.
Right.
And what they've said is, we are liable
Right.
over what had happened. That's why I'm not saying as much. But what I am saying is, I'm actually disgusted with the NHS because the NHS is actually getting pathetic.
We hear that there's a lack of staff because the people that we would normally get from across Europe aren't coming here because of Brexit anymore.
We had staff.
They had staff. So how come they were... Because they said we got no staffing at all, you mentioned earlier.
Yes. Right, let me explain. We had one midwife for the whole one big massive ward.
Right.
And then she says, we've got some outline for later. So we've got some midwives from another hospital, which no longer is open.
Right.
That sort of wing. And basically they come out. They were only there a couple of hours.
Right.
And that's who started all this off, over the asphyxiation and this cream. According to the consultants and that, we should never ever have used what we used.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you got plenty to chase them for.
Oh, it's not a case of that. It's a case of what's going on.
Is it not? I mean, for months now, people have said that the NHS is underfunded, they're not getting enough money, they haven't got enough staff, they're not getting the right kind of staff that are properly trained to work in the respective wards.
This government, whether we like it or not.
Well, Boris has just said it. Only about 3 months ago they were going to get a whole batch of cash.
I know I've read about all this, but the money what he's saying that they're going to get out of, they've already got it, and basically they still need more, and they're not even getting it.
Right.
It's just pure madness. I'm just a bit grieved up about it.
Well, I mean, the plus side is, thank heavens that your wife's all right. Thank heavens the baby's okay, breathing okay and doing well.
Oh, yes.
But what a terrifying thing for the whole family to go through.
Well, it's a terrifying thing when the nurses on the wards, they'll be not interested. That is terrifying.
So how long was she in after the baby was born then?
2 days.
2 days, that's, well... And was she fed properly? Was she looked after okay? I mean, did you not take a bath towel from home and said, use this?
I wasn't told about it.
All right, till after you got out. Right. Yeah.
Till after everybody come out of the hospital.
Gotcha.
I wasn't told about it.
Yeah.
What more can I say on that? I'm at fault, yeah, in one way, but in another way, I'm not at fault.
Well, you're only at fault. You can't be there 24/7, and they don't let you in a lot of the places once the baby's on its way, so...
I had to go back home to look after the dog.
Right.
Because you can't leave a dog in a property on his own.
Right, okay.
Which, in one way, I can't be in two places. It costs enough money to get taxis.
Right.
But what do you do? But like I say...
I tell you, let's find out from other people...
Yeah.
Is this what they went through when they had their baby? Maybe this is this is just how it is now, that it's a production line rather than a caring, lovely thing to go through.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's somewhat like a production line.
Right, okay. Hey, good talking to you, Andrew. I'm glad things are going well, at least now. Thank you for coming on.
Right, thank you very much, Alan.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Blimey. Just think about that whole thing. Imagine that was your partner. And have you had a baby? And if so, is that your memory of it? That's not... Because you like to think you're putting your partner in the hands of people that will give the love, care and attention that you feel for them. I mean, that might be a huge ask, and I think it is, really. But that's what you hope for, isn't it? And Michelle says, the definition of never in a month of Sundays to me means it's never going to happen or something is unlikely to get finished. There you go, that's her telling me. And also Ted from Whack, which is actually how you say Whack. I was dead busy, mate. We've missed you dearly. And I've got you some gifts. And I got you a lovely flask with a thistle on it. And Nicholas kept us all updated while you were off air. So I got her a Scottish notepad and pen for doing your clues with. P.S. I was known as Ted from Shildon, but I've had the best holiday back then in Scotland because we split up just before I went. Had the double room to myself, had 2 sets of free drinks vouchers on the night, and my life has totally changed for the better. As you say, it's not the end. It's the start of a new era. I'll post your gifts Tuesday morning, big man. Ted from Whack. Ted, well, thank you. That's super sweet. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Ted. It's a family thing, isn't it? And incidentally, last week, just feeling our way forward in a new show, and the only thing we've replaced is instead of a couple, it used to be like 4 commercials an hour. Now we've got a little bit of music instead, so because we've only got 2 an hour, so it kind of balances out. And we play a little bit of music, so let's see how much of our other things we can bring in. The Blah returns tonight. Now, you all loved The Blah because it was, again, something different in the mix. And that's going to happen about 12:15. So if you are a big Blah fan, and I know many of you are, make sure you stick around because it will be on its way. We have Sue, who's in Washington. Well, she's from Washington, but she's not there. I think she's still in Kings Lynn. Hello.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, Sue. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, we've been in Kings Lynn since last Saturday.
Right. Still going well?
The what, sorry?
Still going well?
Yeah,
That's
yes,
good.
lovely. The weather has been really kind to us. You think it's warm up there?
It is indeed, but it must be
warm,
singeing
warmer
down there,
here.
is it? Tell everybody this story about you. You've got a friend who's lost over 7 stone in weight.
Yeah.
How does she do that?
Depression, anxiety.
Blimey.
But it wasn't a diet. You probably remember me talking about her, actually. She's had a lot of things happen and that in her life and that. But, yeah, she's over 18 months. She's lost 7 stone.
And that's just with a condition. She's not been dieting or
She's not been dieting. It's just with depression and
with all
anxiety.
the horror of it all. That's
just didn't want to
terrifying.
eat and,
Sheepish.
you know.
Yeah.
And plus, the other thing was she had trouble with the gallstones.
Right.
So what she was eating, which was very little anyway, she was just vomiting because of the gallstones. So she's had that removed.
Right. Good.
The gallbladder removed just a couple of weeks ago now.
Right.
And And what she is eating now, she's managing to keep down.
Good.
But she looks better. She's like, now come to the thing saying, I've got to get out of the house. I've got to get out of the house.
That's
I've got to
great.
get my life back.
That's fabulous.
So
good to know.
she's doing it gradually.
Yeah.
And so when we left on Saturday, I left because I had a free sample in the post. There's a tenor lady pad.
Uh-huh.
In the packaging. Well, I think last year we both went out and brought ourselves a lounger for my garden, because she hasn't got much of a garden. So I said, well, you can come round here anytime we'll sunbathe.
Right. Uh-huh.
So we had these loungers, and so when I come away on Saturday, I said, I've left you the frame as like near the back end of the wall type thing.
Right.
I said, and I've left a note on the table for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, because my daughter, she didn't come down till Friday.
Right.
I kept saying, has she been in? Has she been in? No. Because my daughter was at work. And anyway, when my daughter come down on Friday, I think it it might have been Friday, she went, I've been in your garden to sunbathe. Thank you for the pad. And I left a note on the table saying, I've left your pad here. And that was the tenor lady pad.
That you got, because you sent me a photograph of this, and it's a lounger chair, but without the cushion that you need to sit on, and instead you've put the tenor lady as if that's all you can rest on across the lounger. It does look ridiculous. Very funny.
She put it on there, and she said, I know I've lost weight, but I'm not that.
I was going to say that she's got a long way to go before that's just going to be what she needs.
It made her laugh.
Not
and
bad.
I said, honestly, when she took the photo and sent it to us, my cheeks ached so much, It was really funny.
It was funny. It's lovely, amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of those daft photos, and I'm not surprised she sent you a photo of it, just to say thank you. Brilliant. No, it's very good.
But yeah, I did send you a couple of photographs from a trip we went to the other day. It was black and white.
Yeah, I've seen them. Very nice.
But you had to guess what the missing thing was.
I didn't work that out. I had about 2,000 to work my way through, so I didn't do that. So what was missing?
It's not. Well, if you have a close look,
right, that's still on still on the computer here.
The end person, which is me,
right,
and look on the right hand side. There's you can see my daughter photoshopped it actually, or tweaked it and took it out.
Right.
So I've got my stick. But my stick has gone in the other one.
That's clever, right?
So she done that. I put it on the Night Owl Friends group to give them something to do while we're waiting for you to come on a Sunday.
It's like those things you used to get in puzzle books saying, notice the 7 things missing from this picture. Yeah.
I just thought I'd give them something to do. And I said, only a thumbs up, so don't give the answers.
Right, that's good.
But, we've had it the temperature down here has been 32 today.
Jeepers.
And no wind, and it's just like walking into a sauna. It's really, really sticky and horrible. But we went out. We went to it's called Snettersham Farm Park.
Right.
Been feeding little baby lambs and pigs, and went out on a tractor ride, and we saw the deer, thousands of deer. Lovely, and they come up. You can feed them. Absolutely brilliant.
Lovely.
So, yeah, I've had a lovely time.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, the car, I've got one of those things that tells you what the temperature is in the car, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was up to 28, and I thought that was fairly impressive. But you've trumped us there in King's Lynn, so
yes,
I know it's lovely to have you back, sir. Well, but I know kind of half you.
Nice to hear you again, and I can't wait for more.
I can't wait for the more. I think we're all desperate for the more. Thanks, Sue. We'll get there. Thank you, darling.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Sue there in Kings. I can't wait for the more. Give me more. There's never enough. Never enough of the night owls. Everybody knows that. And Glenn from South Shields is coming up, I think, right now. I wonder what Glenn's talking about tonight. Hi, Glenn.
Hello, Alan.
Hello there, South Shields. What can we do for you?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to hear you again,
Good, man. Cheers.
I'm pleased it got sorted out. It'd be great if you can get a full week like the Metro. Be great, that wouldn't it,
We're working on it, mate. No worries.
No, Alan, it's just about the when you first came on about the guy who phoned in about the heart attack.
Yes.
Well, he's actually got it a little bit wrong. It's the advert is about
strokes, I think, isn't it?
Stroke,
right.
Which is like a totally different thing, of course, you know.
Right.
Because I mean, like obviously, my mum's had a stroke and that, and obviously I'm doing the caring job. Now I was actually there when she had the stroke.
Oh, jeepers! So, I mean, at what point? Because you know, I think the TV commercial for strokes is actually a shocker. It does frighten you, but it teaches you.
I'm pretty experienced anyway because I work in a nursing home with dementia and that, and I've seen lots and lots of stuff. But I mean, I've worked in a nursing home for the past 17 years.
But when it's your family, is it not?
It's a different thing. But I've been through a lot of stuff with, like, my dad I was there when my dad died. He had multiple brain tumours, and I was only in my early 20s then. But you know, but it was quite a, you know, it's a traumatic thing, you know. It really is not. But a lot of people get a little bit confused with strokes and heart attacks.
Sure.
Because a stroke is neurological. It's to do. Obviously, it happens in the brain, and it's nothing to do with the body.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a heart attack's sort of like it's very similar. It's like a clot in the heart, in the chest, but it's obviously you don't get the brain damage with the heart attack.
Gotcha.
You know, so it's like a totally different thing. But
so I mean, but when you're in the house,
yeah,
you know when your mum was having that stroke,
yeah,
did she shout? Did you scream? Does she grab hold of you and say, "What's happening to me"? I mean,
I can't feel me arm. I can't feel me leg. Her face dropped. But and when I phoned the ambulance straight away, and when I came back, her head was back and she was choking on her own vomit. So I had to like drag her forward, and it's the only time I've ever hit a woman, Alan, actually. I smacked her on the back and she was sick. And
but that probably saved her life, though, nonetheless.
That's what they said, So because
just as well, you knew what you were doing, mind.
Yeah, I was used to. Well, I was used to stuff like that when I worked at the nursing home, because I worked with. It was mainly dementia,
right?
But it was there was two sides. There was a dementia side and a general side. I worked both, but it was normal. I normally worked on the dementia side. It was like, you know, mostly all the time, you know.
But mind you that my parents, towards the end of their lives, went through that horrible murkiness of...
well, there's another story because when I first... that's another thing, really. When I first started working at the nursing home, there was a guy in there, and he had mad cow's disease.
Right.
That was unbelievable, you know.
Yeah.
And it was funny because, like, you shouldn't have been there, really, but it was the only place that didn't know much about it, and it would just come about and that, you know.
Yeah.
He'd been a lighthouse keeper. He was only 58. And it was just very much like dementia, you know, the symptoms and that. But it was pretty sad, you know, really. But, you know, I think it was one of the first cases in the area, actually.
No, it's just though that if you've got dementia, would they be as capable of pointing you towards the symptoms of a stroke as your mother was, who didn't have dementia?
It depends, really. I mean, I dealt with a lot of people in the home on the dementia unit who had dementia through the stroke, which can happen. You can actually get dementia through a stroke, and that's when my mum first had the stroke. That's what I was asking.
Right.
But there's no sign of dementia with my mum at all. Which is lucky, because she had a massive stroke. It could have killed her. You know, it was a massive bleed on the brain as well. You know, so it was like...
and how old's your mum? Because you sound quite young yourself, mate.
I've just turned 50.
Right. So your mum's about 70 something.
78.
Right.
Wow.
Hey, what a battle. And what a... all of a sudden your life stops because you decided you're going to care for your mum.
Yeah, like I say, I've been doing this for like over 9 years now.
Amazing.
But I like
selfless thing.
I actually just like I quit the nursing home. I wasn't too happy with a few things, so I started this. Really, it's you know, so it's like that's what I've been doing. You know.
Yeah, amazing.
No, I think like I say, it's a lot of people do get confused about heart attacks and strokes and that, you know. Just that guy, when he was saying he had a heart attack, he had none of the symptoms, but because he had a heart attack, it wasn't an actual stroke, you know.
No. Gotcha. Hey, it was worth saying. Glenn, thank you so much, mate. Keep us right.
Yeah,
bless you.
No bother. You take care, and good luck for the future, for the
thank you.
To get that full week.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. That's a lot of people wanting all the same thing. Thank you very much, Glenn in South Shields. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of music and then we shall blah. If you've never heard the blah before, it's essentially where we take a look at what the headlines are going to be in all of the national newspapers tomorrow, have a chat about it, and we will also bring in Hollywood McShane, the producer to The Stars, whose name changes every time we win, or he wins an award, and he has won many, and he is currently Hollywood. Last week, it looked like he was going to, we ripped tufts of hair out of his head when he made mistakes. We thought his new name was going to be Two Tufts McShane, but we're sticking with Hollywood because, as you know, we were very fortunate to win our 84th, which sounds ridiculous, award just recently, a Gold New York Radio Award. So he can keep his Hollywood so far. I don't know where you go from Hollywood. Have you got any suggestion? Diamond McShane? I don't know. If you could... Bollywood. Bollywood, there's probably more money in Bollywood these days. Who knows? That may be where he goes next. However, the blah is after somebody from our glorious north, family from farming folk in Durham, and just a voice that you just have always loved. It's Brian Ferry and Roxy Music. There you go. Playing that especially for Rory, who is currently fishing upon the River Tweed and listening to us at the present moment, which is fabulous. I only have one River Tweed story. I don't think I've ever told you it before, because it was the only time that I think I've ever impressed me dad, because my dad was completely unimpressed that I wasn't doing a job like him, because he wanted me to be... He was a bit of a builder, a bricklayer, time served, and he could fix tiles. He was a bit like that bloke who put the flooring in earlier that we were hearing about. He could do all of that, because dads did all of that. Well, I need to put some beading on. I mean, Dad will do. Dads were brilliant for that back in the day. I'm not so sure all dads are the same now, but they used to be like that. And I used to be dragged fishing with my dad when I was a little kid. And I just got into the business. I'd only been working on radio for probably about 3 years. And my dad said, I'm going fishing again. Would you like to come? Now, I've never, ever been for a pint with me dad. So this was kind of like, bonding. And then he says, I'm taking your mum and I'm taking my best friend and his wife. So it was, I'm still going to be the fifth wheel of the cart. However, we went fishing on the River Tweed, and it was the time, apparently, when the salmon swim up the river to do their breedy thing, and all the men go up for the sex, and all the women go up to receive and deliver the eggsy things. Well, you know they do. That's sex for you. Tony looks shocked. I think he's just learnt. And but apparently, same as every other critter. And so they're climbing up all the rocks and jumping. However, that's the time when you can catch a salmon on the Tweed. And there's certain areas of the river where you can fish free. There's others you need like a permit for. And we got a permit, and we were on the river. And my dad caught about 6 fish. And they were like sticklebacks. They were about like 2.5 inches long. He caught, to be honest, probably about 9 of them. And he had them in a keep net. So they were all alive, and he'd have put them back in the river at the end of the day. But this bloke came walking past, and this is the only time I think I ever impressed him. This bloke had caught a salmon. But when you're talking a salmon, you think a foot, two. This salmon, he had it on his shoulder, and the bottom of the salmon probably touched his belt. This was a huge damn thing. And he looked down at the keep net, and he lifted it up like fisher folk do, I'm being nebby. And he just kind of grinned. And I looked up and I said, you only caught the one then. And I thought that was really good. It was the only time that I ever really impressed me dad, because I wish I could think as quickly as that, he said afterwards. So anyway, River Tweed, Rory, catch yourself a billion, mate, and good luck to you, because now, exclusively on Greatest Hits, it is time for the blah. What is the blah? It is where we take a look at the headlines. We are also joined by the person you can talk to on the telephones, which is Dawn tonight.
Hello.
And Hollywood McShane, producer to the stars.
Hello.
Right, so let's get cracking. What is happening out there in the world that you can find in your newspapers tomorrow? Starting with the Financial Times. The EU looks to rewrite budget rules as the bloc's economic growth falters. Or is that unless Britain stay in? Do they know something we don't? On the front of the Sun, eat to beat diabetes. And the World Cup hero does it again. Go earn, my son. Stokes in an epic Ashes comeback. Best ever innings by an Englishman. And Boris says he's going to give us a no-deal vow. This is only about a fortnight since he said, well, it looks possible now we're going to leave without a deal. I think he'll say anything but his prayers, Boris, won't he? And also Colleen, the Rooneys. I don't know whether you're into Rooney stories, but Colleen's been seen without her wedding ring on because her husband's been seen getting in another taxi with another blonde.
I don't know why she puts up with it all the time.
I don't understand either. Or is it because he's a multi-millionaire and she's got 4 kids?
But if she divorced him, she'd get half anyway.
9
so,
kids. She'd get more than that.
She is quite a successful person in her own right as well. She's got like a clothing ranges and things like that.
Is she?
I've never noticed.
Yeah, she's got her own clothing ranges with catalogues and things.
Has
so
she? I don't know. Okay.
She has made a success of herself.
She wouldn't when they were divorced, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't. But the thing is, he went across to America, and now they're saying, and I presume because there's more relationship trouble, he's now saying, I may be coming back to Britain. In other words, till it all quietens down. Because you wouldn't uproot the kids from schools and stuff over there, I'm guessing. Unless deep down she maybe wants to come back too. But anyway, that's the Sun, if that's your kind of thing. Daily Mirror, Mirror Man Ben saves the Ashes. Apparently, Ben Stokes wrote a column for the paper, probably once in the last 100 years, but he's the Mirror's man. And I won't pay for free TV. Big spending Johnson passes the buck to the BBC as he cozies up to Donald Trump. I must admit, if you put the right kind of music, you got Boris in his suit with his hands on his hip, and you've got Donald Trump looking down at him. If you put the Laurel and Hardy music on there, you kind of would get it a bit closer to the truth. Daily Express, the best summer's day ever. Record sizzler, and England pull off a great Ashes miracle. Save free TV, Boris tells the BBC, and no ring Colleen after new Rooney scandal. The Times has a picture of cricket on the front. Stokes leads England to epic Ashes comeback. And Johnson will easily cope with no deal. Do you notice how one paper says, we're not going to have a no deal? We'll easily cope with it, says he, who has got no idea what it really truly means, because nobody does. Britain can easily cope with no deal, claims Johnson at the G7. Every newspaper has their own spin. And MPs call for compulsory menopause policies in workplaces. I'm sorry, I'm staring at you, Dawn.
Yeah.
I'm just
bit
wondering.
Young for that one.
Have you had the hot flush and all of that?
No, I'm a bit young for that one. But I do know in our workplace they do actually have menopause ambassadors, and they have women.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you see, if I was a boss and one of the women had the menopause, I would have think that's great. You just turn the heating down where they are, and you save a bit of money.
Feel a bit left out.
Well, because you want a menopause.
Yeah, I don't know.
You do. You do. I don't think anybody would want. menopause. No. But, however, I love the idea that businesses are, in fact, looking to do that kind of thing.
I mean,
think
our place, they have mental health first aiders and things like that.
I think that's
so
great.
They're really taking notice that actually menopause is a big deal for a lot of people. And
No, it absolutely is. Incidentally, if you're wondering what's the matter, I do have a voice issue. I don't know whether you've been aware of it. And Tony is aware of what happened. I decided, because I'm not working right across the week, I was gonna do some research into curry, which is a lovely thing to research into. So I decided I was going to have a vindaloo as hot as you can make it.
Ouch.
Now, this was a mistake. I had it when I was on holiday, but the guys, I think, must have been kind to me and just said, just give them a medium or whatever. Really enjoyed it. I said to them, no, it was quite a spicy one. Oh, my good gracious. So I've had 2 nights of absolute hell, sweating. My sinuses were on fire. The back of my throat, I couldn't swallow for 2 days. I seriously burnt my innards. And, hey, coming out, that's not helpful either. My goodness, they don't tell you. It's twice as hot coming out as it is going in. They should warn you. You'd put your toilet roll in the fridge, as the old joke says. However, that's the reason. If you have a voice issue, you can't laugh normal. It's not. I don't understand why.
So
but
the curry won that challenge.
The curry did win. Incidentally, Scott McGeechan said, I'm a big fan of the blah. And I was well impressed when you pronounced my surname. Is it because you live in Scotland these days? Yes, I suppose. But Scotty, thanks for being with us. Anyway, let's get back to the blah. We haven't hit the Daily Mail yet. Land of heat and glory. Britain basking in the hottest August bank holiday ever. Now, you've got to remember, when they say ever, they mean the hottest day since records exist.
Yeah.
How far back do you think they go?
100 years?
What about you?
no, I thought it was only back to about the 50s.
74.
74 years or?
1974.
Oh, really?
1970. I think there must have been a fair. Because you would have thought they would have better records than that. But they say the only time they've got complete records of Great Britain, 1974.
Who started the records? Was it us?
Somebody with far too much time.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, Daily, presumably the meteorological officer, the people who do that kind of stuff. Daily Star, there's a mega footy pullout, and Big Ben strikes again. Hottest bank halls as Ashes catches fire and rues that girl. They've got a picture of her, apparently.
Not with that ring off.
Oh, no. Nah, I can't see the woman's ring, not from where I'm sitting. But there's a picture of this woman. Or is it Rooney? Oh, it's Wayne Rooney, I'm thinking. Blimey,
she's looking rough.
She's looking like you just wouldn't mind. But there you go. That's actually it. That's embarrassing. It was just a little picture, in fairness. The Independent newspaper. Prime Minister, BBC must give free licences to over 75s. I think that's his dad, isn't it? There he's looking at me. And the Daily Telegraph. How's that? And the bottom page, we've been criticising the National Health Service. NHS cancels patients 10 times in a row now. And if you're building up, the fear you go through when you're waiting for an operation, that's just not funny. Not funny at all. The Information newspaper tells it the way that I believe Brexit to be. The Brexit deal is touch and go, they say. And I believe that it is, and I think it could run for years and years to come. And the Financial Times, that's it. So let's get a story from you, Dawn. What you got for us tonight?
So police in Kansas City were suddenly inundated with calls about 11 o'clock one morning.
Yeah.
All 911 calls, people saying they'd seen a man carrying a woman's topless woman over his shoulder, looked like he was ready to throw her off the bridge, and then he slung her off the pavement and was trying to dress her. They were convinced it was a dead body.
Yeah.
Police raced to the scene, only to find he was carrying a life-size doll.
What, like a sexy doll?
A sexy doll.
Oh, dear.
That he'd found.
He'd found
in a dumpster and was taking it home.
Oh, God. So many questions.
Anything I say now, it's not necessary, really, is it? It's just...
We're all thinking it.
Yeah. But yeah, do you think he would?
The
must have been intending to.
Well, he did.
Did he get to keep it?
He did get to keep it, and
we washed it.
The police report ended with him being told not to carry it around in public anymore.
Well, I think that's a good
some
move.
clothes on it,
That's
maybe.
a good move. Leave it in a fridge for about 40 years. Kill off whatever's in that. But anyway, thank you for that. Didn't expect that one. Okay, over to you, Hollywood McShane.
Bit of toilet talk now. We've already been talking already about toilets.
All right, then.
But this is... the US have really harsh sentences, don't they, for the stupidest things? Because a serial toilet clogger has just been jailed.
A serial toilet clogger?
Yeah, basically this 35-year-old Wisconsin man's been sentenced on Monday to 3 years of probation, but he got 30 days in jail as part of that as well. So basically, he's
clogging up the system, I'm guessing.
Clogging up women's toilets.
What?
Women's toilets.
Explain. Why?
Well, he's not allowed to drink or take drugs anymore, so that's a bit of a clue. So
But what's that got to do with his hind
He's
end?
been getting drunk and going into ladies' bathrooms and clogging them up, basically.
But he must.
With
paper. Or...
Well, I think it's with yeah.
That's what I initially thought, but when you said women's toilets,
Well, no, that's it. He
They
hasn't been using
flush
the
the
men's.
same as men's do, you know.
They do, but I don't know if it's
A serial
obsession.
clog. So there's somebody been keeping a record of this, guys.
Well, he's been charged with 12 misdemeanors of criminal damage. So
Jamage.
Jamage.
Criminal jamage. You created a new word, but we all know what he means. Anyway, just before we finish the blah, Cliff Richard, we got a Cliffy one for you coming up in a second. But first of all, this is when I was talking to him about some of the people that he's maybe fallen out with over the weeks, months and years. And I must admit that you've got an interesting selection of possibilities in that particular area.
This is real life conversation with the voice of the North.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Call 0191 488 3188.
Greatest Hits Radio.
Now, they've come up with a new name for Hollywood McShane. This is Ted, anyway. Ted says, why not call him Glorywood McShane? Glorywood. He helps please the North and the Deep South. Yeah, well, kind of. That's what he sort of does. And Tim says, I'm so glad the blah is back. Love Dawn's story. Ha ha. And about spiders, Omar's been back. He says, you keep talking about spiders, and there was a great big bee waiting for me on the stairs as I went down to use the loo. The Dyson is staying with me tonight. My mum told me the story of why I don't like them. More likely why she doesn't like them, and I've mimicked her behaviour at a very young age. Born in South America, we'd proper-sized ones that would be a genuine risk to small children and the elderly. Apparently, about a year old, she'd put me down, and I had gone unusually quiet. When she came to check on me, there was a huge tarantula-sized spider on my chest, and I was silent and rigid, just staring at it in fear. She had to leave me and get my dad, who came in with the swing of a shovel. The impact against the wall must have done it instantly. Ever since I've been in this old house, there have been some big old bees here. Took me years to track one of them down, kept escaping, and this one tonight was almost the size of a tennis ball, but has now had a ride on the magical, mystical Dyson merry-go-round. Yeah, that's the stuff. Omar there, in heaven, thanks for being with us. Let's go and talk to Lewis, who is in Sunderland. Hello, Lewis.
Hi, Alan.
Alan, happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you've done something lovely on a lovely day like this.
Yeah, well, we've been to Seaburn Beach.
Oh,
me and a
brilliant.
couple of friends and all the bands.
Legs out.
Legs out.
That's the spirit.
Lily white legs.
Yeah, I know it's the nearest thing to corned beef until it starts getting a bit of colour, isn't it? It's horrible.
Tell us about it.
Shocking. It's the funny thing is, if ever you are fortunate enough to be on a foreign beach, you look at the people on the beach and you go, foreign, English. And you can just tell by it, because it's how white they start. It's like they start like a white sheet of paper and then slowly get the odd freckle starts to appear.
I think in Scotland it's more chav, chavvy, chavier, chavier.
There's a bit, and you can always tell. What I like doing, even if I'm not going anywhere, if you ever pass an airport, you go in there and play Spot the New Trainers. Because everybody, even if they haven't managed to, get togged out brand new for their hollies, I guarantee they'll all be in brand new, squeaky clean. What you need to do is wear some really dirty shoes and just tread on people's toes by accident, just to break them in.
I always come back in white shorts and white 3/4.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, why not? For sure. Show them off. So you had a good time. You get a tan, or did you escape before it happened?
No, I don't think I've got a tan yet. I look brown now, but that's because it's black.
Right. Gotcha.
But on about spiders as well, when I've just sent that last message there.
Yeah.
I'm stopping at my friend's tonight because we're having a few drinks for my birthday.
Hey.
But she hasn't stayed in her bedroom last night because she found a spider and she's still training at it and it's gone missing.
It's the thing is, it's somewhere.
Yes.
You know it's somewhere and it's probably having babies right now. Millions of little spider babies. I know, but that's what they do, isn't it? They have spider babies.
I think we might be sleeping in the band's room tonight.
Oh, blame me, she's that frightened. Well, there might be... People say at any time you're no more than 2 yards away from a spider. You don't want to hear that when your bed's about that size, do you? That's the thing. Right.
I don't mind spiders as long as they're not in my bedroom. I just leave them to it when they're everywhere else.
I know, but it's under the bed. Wait until you're asleep, and then it goes hunting for orifices. Dun dun dun.
Cheers, Alan.
She's left a bum out. Oh no! I always think, because I don't wear anything when I'm in bed. I always think if that particular orifice is open and a spider really wants to risk it, good luck, I say to that spider. It's not anywhere that any sane person would approach, that's for sure.
My friend just said she's wrapping herself in cling film tonight.
That's probably it. At least she'll be safe. Anything else we can do for you then, Lewis?
No, Alan, I just want to say I'm so glad you're back. I've missed you so much.
I miss being here. Thank you so much for coming on, Lewis, and love to you and your pal tonight. Have a good evening.
Right, cheers, Alan.
Bye. Happy birthday to you. How about that? Great day. Stunning weather. Night in with a pal. Why not? Now, I've been very neglectful with clues, so I'm going to give you 3 clues. Remember, you've just got to hear the 4th one. You can start ringing in. First clue is this. What you call a place that actually makes and distributes money. What you call a place that actually makes and distributes money. Second clue. These are usually kept with pans, unless your name's Paul. Okay? Famous classical singer, Paul something, usually kept with pans. 2 clues down. The third clue is probably your hardest link. Pamela from Baywatch and Gillian from the X-Files share this surname. Pamela from Baywatch and Gillian from X-Files share this surname. 3 clues down, 1 more clue to come. And don't forget, you could win a Night Owls mug, and they are also available to buy. All profits going to Cash for Kids. They're available on the Facebook and Twitter. Apparently a Night Owls mug. We give one away each night. And don't forget, everybody that comes on the show this evening goes in the hat for a Night Owls t-shirt as well, which is pretty good, as modelled by one of the listeners who sent me a picture of him squeezed into it. So there you go. Right, let's crack on. Who else is out there in the dark? We're off to Stockton upon the Tees, the Steel River. We have Pam. Hello, Pam.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, darling. What can we do for you tonight? What are you talking?
You've been like the Invisible Man.
Is that right?
Right through August, I've been round and round and round, and I couldn't find you. But tonight, my granddaughter heard you and she texted me.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, welcome back. Glad you found us at last, Pam.
Yeah, I know. What time do you start, Alan?
10 o'clock till 2.
Yes, it's just Sunday.
Just a Sunday for now.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping for more as soon as we can. Right.
Have we got Jean and Matthew back yet?
Yes, they're about. I think they may even be in the queue somewhere. Yes.
Yeah. How's your good lady?
She's fine, thank you.
That's good.
All's well with the world.
Well, I had a lovely birthday.
Oh, what did you get up to then?
Just about, well, I never hardly go out, you know, Alan. You know my situation.
I do, yes.
So they come and got the wheelchair,
Right.
dumped me in the wheelchair,
Brilliant.
took me to Newcastle.
Uh-huh.
I've never been to Newcastle before.
Whoa! Whoa!
Yeah,
Just,
we had a big snack of nails.
just think about this for a second. You live in Stockton-upon-Tees, which is about, I would guess, about 50 minutes from Newcastle, less than an hour.
Yeah, I know, my granddaughter goes to university.
And but you've never been to Newcastle.
I've never been to Newcastle.
What? Well, you have now. Happy birthday. Slap up meal. Was it nice?
It was lovely.
Good stuff. Oh, how did you find getting around okay in the wheels of steel?
I've got a dinner frame as well.
Right, right. You used that, did you, on the day?
In the house, yeah.
Right.
Because I can't go out by myself.
Sure, no, I understand.
Yeah.
So a nice meal. Did you get a chance to see any of the city?
Pardon?
Did you get a chance to see any of the city?
Yes, we went for a walk round.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I didn't see it, but they went for a walk round.
Right, oh. When they left you in the car or they left you in the restaurant?
They took me with them.
Oh, well, that's all right then. So you got a chance to see it, just you were comfier than them. That's all that means.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Hey, I'm so glad. You know, years ago, and I know I would love to do more of this stuff where we just get people travelling more, because I think the best thing you can do is see as much of the world as you can.
Yeah.
Some people don't have the chance, but if you do get the chance, go everywhere. And we decided we were going to put a bus on to take people from Teesside, Wearside and Tyneside to Edinburgh, capital of Scotland, to see the castle and the shops and all the stuff that's there.
I've been to Ayr in Edinburgh.
Lovely. We see you've been further than Newcastle.
And I've been to South Shields.
Lovely. That's nice. But I was just stunned because 2 or 3 of the people on the bus said, "Oh, I've never been out." They've never been out of their own towns. You know, like there was a lady from Baker, which is, if you're able to walk, it's probably you walk over a bridge and you're in Newcastle, so it's not really very far away at all. But she never walked across the bridge. She said to me on the bus, "I've always been a bit scared to go in there on my own."
Yeah.
And it was like, but it's like 100 yards away.
But as I say, my husband, he didn't like to go on holiday.
Right.
If they went anywhere, it was with me and the 2 kids.
Right. Yes, you can understand that. But he didn't like going too far.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my holidays when I was a kid, I used to always think it was the other side of the world. And I lived in the West End of Newcastle, and they took us to the coast to Whitley Bay and Tynemouth and Cullercoats. And I thought the 3 of them were in 3 completely different places.
Yeah.
And they're all side by side, and it's a bit of beach for 2 hours, then the bus home. And you thought you'd travel to the other side of the world by the time you got home.
Yeah.
Amazing. Hey, but lovely talking to you, Pam. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for coming back on. I've been lost.
Well, no, well, bless. We'll get as many days as we can as soon as we can. Thanks for coming on, Pam.
Okay, bye.
You take care. And we are back after this. Now, the thing is, this is a particular piece of music that I love. It's Gladys Knight and the Pips. And there is a bit in the music where the backing band go woohoo. And you got a woohoo. And that happens immediately after this. Gladys Knight and the Pips. 60 years, of course, since Motown burst upon us. And Gladys Knight, one of the original voices of Motown. You might remember Help Me Make It Through the Night. Just one of the greatest and most tender ballads you've ever heard in your life. And there she is, getting us all on a midnight train. Why not? And we are the Greatest Hits Radio, of course. Hence the Greatest Hits we play. And you can message us if you text Alan plus your message to 61054. 61054. Or you can send emails as normal through the station if you get into any trouble. Get to the website, Greatest Hits, and you could send that stuff through to me. We're 3 clues in for our competition. You're going to get a 4th clue in about 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll see who is going to be victorious, winning our mug prize tonight. I hope it's you. News and things to talk about. We heard a lady talking about gallstones earlier on the show. There's a story in the press about a grandmother who went into hospital with a problem that I've suffered from, kidney stones, nasty damn things. While she was in hospital, she got sepsis, and she needed to have both of her arms and both of her legs amputated. Talk about the National Health Service, hell's teeth. That's a horrible thing, catch an infection, and how many people do when they are in hospital. Keep out of there if you can. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is, you know how on Night Owls we've had over the years people saying revenge is sweet, and then they tell you how they got their revenge on somebody, and ha-ha, I felt so wonderful. Some revenges aren't sweet. Some of them are just downright nasty. There's one, again, featured today, I don't know whether you heard about it, about the man has pleaded guilty in court. I think he's a joiner, in fact. Pleads guilty in court for putting Lenore, you know, like fabric softener, for putting Lenore in his girlfriend's beloved fish tank after she dumped him. Obviously, all the fish, obviously softer, but all dead, all dead. So if you want to talk about revenge, either a revenge that somebody's had on you, or maybe you've had that revenge, sweet or nasty, with somebody else, if you want to tell me your stories, happy to do that too. 01914 883188. Get your calls in. We have Chris from Ashington next. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
Good, mate. What are you talking about tonight?
I'm talking about the heat. I sent you a message earlier on about the beans and sausages and stuff.
I remember you are our trucky man, and everything gets a bit claggy in there.
It certainly does, aye. That's probably the worst bit about being a night shift truck driver. When you have days like this, you've got to try and sleep through the hottest part of it. So
yeah.
It's not very good.
So, I mean, what can you do? Because presumably if you put a fan on, that doesn't work. If you open your windows, well, there's no wind. Or it doesn't seem to be much, not enough to keep you cool. How do you cope with it then?
Well, like you say, I've got a little plug-in fan that I plug into the cigarette lighter.
Right.
And that normally works.
Right.
But it just helps circulate the air in the cab a little bit.
Sure.
But on days like today where it was really hot, you're basically trying to sleep in a greenhouse.
So, I mean, presumably you pull up either in a one of these truck parks, or you by the side of the road in a lay-by or whatever. You just curl up. I mean, what hours do you think it's best you get your kip? Because presumably, I'm guessing they're the busy ones where you'd only maybe travel about a mile every 30 minutes or so with the kind of traffic we've had. When do you curl up then?
Well, I got down to Kent this morning. I got down there I was parked up for 10 o'clock.
Right.
So 10 o'clock this morning, it was all right then. It wasn't too warm then.
Right.
But then by the time it got to dinner time, you could just feel the heat.
Yeah.
Radiating, because it just soaks into all the metal on the cab, and then it's just like being in an oven. And then obviously you've got the big slabs of glass all the way around the front and the sides.
Yeah.
And it's just horrendous trying to sleep. So I was being very unenvironmentally friendly today, and I had the engine running with the aircon going.
Oh, blame! Well, I can't blame you, mate, because only way you're going to keep cool, unless you're one of those trucks that's got like a freezer unit on the back, where you can hang out with all the dead animal carcasses.
Yeah, that's another thing. When you parked up at the side of the road, when they're running, they keep you awake as well. So.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a hell of a racket with them, is there? I mean, you get like a fridge buzz in your house you can cope with because you've only got one fridge and it's relatively quiet. To freeze that kind of amount of space, I would imagine is a right racket.
Yeah, they have like a little generator on them that runs, and they're usually quite loud.
Blimey, I bet.
So, yeah, it's.
So I mean, do you strip off? Because I'm just picturing you as a truckie in your big jacket and your coat with all your Yorkie bars in. You cannot strip off too much, I'm guessing, by the side of the road, or do you?
Well, I mean, the cab's got curtains that go around the front and the sides of it. So,
right.
Yeah, basically I'd strip down and lie there in my boxers or less if it's a bit warmer.
Yeah, so keeps your sausage from clagging, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right, no, absolutely. I don't blame you. I can't think of anything worse than being in the hot cab of a vehicle if you've got no cool on.
Yeah, it can be bad, but like I say, I was very unenvironmentally friendly and had the engine running with the aircon.
You see, you're making your carbon footprint huge when you... So that probably made Kent, in general, about 2 or 3 degrees warmer than any other part of Britain with that... with your truck.
It's generally 2 or 3 degrees warmer anyway, Kent. But
yeah, it's because everybody's got the truck still running while they're in the services. That's what it is. Pain.
Yeah.
Hey, no, well, are you back? I presume you're back.
I'm on my way back. I'm just up by Ferry Bridge services on the A1.
Oh, blimey, that's
so it's nice and quiet.
Hop and a skip from home. Get back safe. Lovely talking to you, Chris. Thanks for coming on, man.
Cheers, Alex.
All the best. Bye-bye. Now, a bit of an explanation for anybody who may well has never heard this show before. I know there's a great many new friends that we're making on Greatest Hits who've never heard the Night Owls programme. There is a woman whose voice is so high, only dogs can actually understand what she says. And if you can try and understand what she says, I will try and explain as best I can. Because we're coming up to this woman's 90th birthday. Can you believe that? 90th birthday. She's on the line. I was hoping to talk to her last week, but here she is. It's a lady called Jean from Wrexham, and you have to welcome Jean. Obviously, if her voice is as high as it is, you have to welcome her in a similar fashion by going, "Hello, Jean! Hello! How are you?"
All right. 80th month.
90th birthday. 90th, I was told.
80th month.
I've been sent messages saying that it was your 90th.
I'm not Madam 80.
Hang on, let me just read this message out.
November the 9th, on Saturday, the Storm Men Club.
I know I've got a message here, and it says, "Hello, Alan. Do you know that on November the 9th, Jean is having a bit of a get-together at the Stormhound Club to celebrate her 90th birthday?"
No, it's not 90.
It said 90 on this. It said so.
You've got it wrong.
Have you got it? Oh, you've got it wrong.
80, born 1939.
You've got it wrong.
No, born in 1939.
19.
So this is 80.
Are you sure it wasn't 29?
No, 80.
Okay.
Born I'm 80.
Right.
80.
Okay.
And the great grandfather.
Right.
Yes. What happened to the photos I sent? The photographs.
I posted them back to you the same way. You came on the following week, and I said I'd posted them back to you.
I've never got them. Then.
Sent them straight out.
You just made it this one. You sent the phone bill back.
I know.
But not the photos.
I sent the two things in separate packages, but to the same address, though.
Give it like poison.
Right.
When did you leave? 18th of July. Did you leave on the 18th of July?
I left it was June. Last show was 28th of June, I think. 27th, 28th of June.
Oh, 28th of June. Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Never got them then.
Blame me.
I'm going mad. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I mean, there's loads of people that have sent stuff to me, and I've never seen the side of it, so I don't know what's happened with the postal service. At one time, they used to have that thing where you could guarantee if you put a first-class stamp on, you'd get it the next day. Sometimes if you put a first-class stamp on now, you don't get it at all.
That's stupid postman, man. I mean, you had a my box. You haven't given us some. You had to just give us a you have to contact us. Tyne Valley Post. Tyne Valley. I've got a number there. I've told them what's happened.
Right.
So I might be looking and get them back.
Yeah, I would hope so.
We're not going mad. We're in London there. Did you see them? Did you see the photos?
Yes, of course.
They
yeah, they were lovely. That's why I put them straight in the post, because I knew you'd want them back.
I should have said to Tony, don't
leave them at reception and collect them, because you cannot trust these folk at all.
How's Jennifer?
Jennifer's fine, thank you very much. You did. We got that. Thank you very much.
Give that number for Sarah from Heaven. I'll put your number on the card.
Right.
There's my number.
Gotcha.
Mobile.
Yes.
Nothing. Keep in touch. And
I've just been told you can't. You don't know. You've not heard the show yet.
I've just heard it tonight.
Oh, that's good
I
then.
just found it.
You've just found it. That's
I've
good.
just found it up today.
Well, thank heavens, because we thought you had a problem with your radio thing.
No, it says on 20.
Guessing if you were born in 1929, it was probably a crystal set or something that you...
No, man.
that you
How could you
had.
want to... I wasn't again. Nailing with me. Inducted.
Right, I was going to say, I mean...
Nailing 68.
Right.
Nailing born 68.
Oh, that was a long time after your birthday.
I
Blimey. She was born in 68 and you were born in 1929.
No.
That makes... Blimey, you must have been 40-odd by the time you... 40-odd when you had your first child. You were 51 when you had your first child.
Oh, you stop being stupid.
I'm just asking.
Shut up, man.
I'm
There's
just...
a lady around the corner listens to all this. He listens to all this. And he's been telling that sister all about me, saying, shut up to you. Somebody's been listening to you.
Really?
Yes.
Because you
I
tell
love
me
you,
to
lady.
shut up a lot.
Huh?
Because it's what...
It's you. It's to say shut up to you.
She's complaining because you tell me to shut up.
Yeah, because you saying that things.
I'm not saying that. I'm just thinking, if you have your first child when you're 51, that's amazing. Blimey, I mean, hey, it's risky after that, isn't it, when you get the first child at 51? Well, you said it was 1968, didn't you?
68, right?
68, well, that's 40 years. You were born in 1929.
Elaine was born then.
Elaine was born in 1929.
No.
How old are you, Jean?
No. Elaine,
Jean.
no. Shut up.
Well, you must have been alive when Queen Victoria was on the throne.
Listen to what I'm going to say.
What?
Listen to what I'm going to say.
What?
Listen. I'm born in 1928.
You're born in 1928. 1928. You're getting older every time you mention anything.
No, I was 28 when I had her. I was 28 when I had her.
Yeah, that when you went in 1928.
Elaine was born in 1968.
1968.
Yes, I was 29 when I had her.
You were
right?
50.
Right?
You were 59 when you had her. You said 51 before. Hell's bells. Shit. Oh, this is unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff we're hearing here.
Shut up, man. Don't be silly, man. Don't be silly.
So-
I went in Stockton 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you went to Stockton. Was it nice?
Yeah.
Did they treat you well?
Yeah.
That's
I went to
good.
market. Market.
Oh, fantastic.
Going back again.
What'd you
slowly.
get then? Did you get anything nice?
I got a down t-shirt. I got one off you. I bought one off you.
Oh, that's
And I
nice.
got another one.
That's for Cash for Kids. Bless you.
And, I was going to say something like that.
Got an old t-shirt.
I'm going up the Roman Wall on the 22nd of September.
You're going up the Roman Wall?
I'm going up the Carlisle.
Blimey, you're old enough to know a Roman or two if you're that age. Unbelievable.
I'm going up to Carlisle.
Right, up to Carlisle. You're not going to be walking it, though. Have you still got the uniform?
Huh?
You still got the uniform?
No, I'm got a uniform.
Oh, okay. I thought most Romans had a uniform.
My mate don't maybe now.
Okay. Hey, well, have a lovely time. Don't fall off. Don't fall off that wall. Dave, no.
I can't claim that.
No?
No.
All right, because there's some bits where it comes down quite low, you know. You could probably get on if you wanted.
Oh, well. So.
Have a lovely time.
Your birthday, God.
Oh, well, thank you.
How old are you? 91.
90. In your years, I'm about 104.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. Hey, but lovely talking to you, Jean.
Bye.
Bye. There's Jean. She is an absolute classic, although of indeterminate age. 0191 488 3188. Now, I have a long love affair with T-Rex, Mark Bolan, all of that. And as soon as because we don't normally play an awful lot of music, I'm learning to. But anytime I hear T-Rex, who had about 40 hits, we should certainly play more of them, because they're all great. But whenever you hear one, I always remember that when T-Rex came and they were doing a gig, and I'm fairly sure that the gig was at the City Hall in Newcastle, but they sold the tickets. Some of the tickets went on sale first, at the Odeon Cinema that used to be on Northumberland Street in Newcastle upon Tyne. And I was in that queue, and every man had glitter in their hair. It was glam rock. We all had the big, thick platform heels, flares. Because Mark wore velvet jackets, we all had a velvet jacket. The guys had velvet jackets. All the women looking like fairies from Beltane, because we were wearing our hair, and we can't go wrong. Going to the song. That's not the one we're going to play, but blimey. You ever got dressed up in the style of the bands or the artists that you were going to see? You ever do that? Guilty as charged. I'm just wondering how many of you got yourself turned on to a band that, or an artist who, when you started listening to them, nobody knew who they were. Because I've often mentioned my first connection with Mark Bolan was I was with a guy who I was apprenticed to. I was an apprentice electrician for a guy called Ray. And Ray and I went to the Newcastle Playhouse. I was about 15, and he took me to the Playhouse to have a drink and a sandwich because we were doing a house in the Newcastle city centre area. So he says, we'll pop in for a sandwich. And the nearest place was this Playhouse, but they did sandwiches and they put soup on and stuff. So we went in there and we were sitting at the bar, eating soup and a sandwich, as it happened, bag of crisps, that kind of thing. With muck all over you because you were from a building site. And I'd been working like every weekend known to man for about a year and a half before I left school, wanting to make me weigh in a few extra quid at the weekend that you'd go out and splurge. And when we were sitting there, this noise happened from the corner of the room. Now, back then, Mark Bolan couldn't get gigs, or certainly didn't seem to be able to get any gigs. Nobody'd heard of him. And there was he and a guy called Steve Peregrine Took sitting on the floor of Newcastle Playhouse playing tunes presumably from their Tyrannosaurus Rex days. And I remember thinking, how wild is this? Because I've never heard, if you've listened to Tyrannosaurus Rex, it's rather different to T-Rex. But it was the birth of that amazing band. You ever bumped into an artist super early? Give me a call, 0191 488 3188. We've got Matthew next, who is in Newcastle upon Tyne. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, Alan, you right, mate?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I went out with Ian on Wednesday last week and he tripped up and it was really funny.
It's not funny, is he all right? Did he hurt himself, poor soul?
No, he didn't hurt himself. He made me giggle all the way home.
I bet he did.
But I'm out with him Wednesday. We're going to go down to Morpeth again.
Oh, lovely. Are you looking for new computer games or what you...
No, I'm going to just have a look round. I'll be thinking of you when I'm looking around, Alan.
Well, that's... What day are you going in?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, all right.
Yep.
Good stuff. Hey, well, enjoy it. I mean, how many times a week does he take you out then?
Just a Wednesday
Just
now.
a Wednesday night.
I'm coming here on a Sunday to talk to you.
Lovely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's great.
I'm saying, yeah. Three more things. Did you have, Boris Johnson? I don't think he's going to get with a Brexit deal. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to get with a Brexit deal. I don't think.
You don't? Why do you think that then?
Because a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people like him. You know what I mean? He's trying to do his best, but I think he's the same as Donald Trump. Nobody likes him, but he's like a big baby. Him and Donald Trump. Never mind the dumb and dumber. You've got them too.
Well, there you are. So you don't rate either of them?
No, I don't like them both.
All right, fair enough.
They're both dumb and dumber. We could have put Tony or you or Chris in the White House. I wouldn't mind.
Well, that'd be three dummers there then. That's too many dummers.
What about Night Owls McShane? That would be nicer. That would be nice.
Night Owl McShane. Well, that's what he is, isn't he? We're all you're Night Owls Matthew, aren't you? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's me.
That's all our names there.
Yep.
That's all
I love
good.
this show. I'm glad it's back. These people are looking after you really well.
Well, I'm glad.
Yep. Three more things out there.
Okay.
I'm seeing the weather's going to be hot tomorrow, isn't it, by the way?
Yeah, I've heard that. Are you going out sunbathing?
I probably might go and sunbathe in the garden.
That's nice. I mean, does everybody else not do that? Does everyone else just hanging out?
Most people might sit in the sunbathe and that. Most people. I know Ian does sunbathing when he's at home. He told me that. I said,
there you are.
He was like singing a song. Ian says, I lost you at 1 a.m. to sing. I said, well, I've got to get up for work. I said, well, I'm off tomorrow.
I know. Look at you. That's it.
Yep. Do you like Amy Winehouse's music?
Amy Winehouse is excellent. Yeah, absolutely.
She's a great woman. It's a shame she died because she was just a love. I bought Amy Winehouse CD from H&V the other week last Wednesday with Ian.
Good stuff.
Ian was trying to sing Valerie Allen, but he didn't do very well.
No. Well, at least he's entertaining you. That's the thing.
He's entertaining me. He says, he looks at us when he looks and says, what, you're trying to do? You're trying to sing a song for me? Are you trying to drive me up the wall? I said, no, I'm not trying to drive you up the wall, Ian. I'm trying to be your friend. He said, Karen, his wife, he's got a frying pan behind the bed, and he says, are you going to make cakes? And Ian said, she'll probably bang us on the heat with it.
I think that's a dangerous thing. You never.
More things.
Okay, go on then.
To Mary and Jimmy, shout out to Ian, a shout out to Neil. A shout out to anybody else, Jean, or anybody else who knows me.
Lovely.
What can I go in that for, Alan?
Well, you're in the hat for a T-shirt. Everybody goes in the hat for a T-shirt.
I'll go in for a T-shirt. 2 more things.
Go on then.
The new Call of Duty they're bringing out, they're going to be bringing special ops into it. But they're going to give you a chance to play the, like a beta, it's like a test engine to test the game out for the game launches.
All right, I see. So you're going to have a go, are you? See if you want it.
Have a go of it. I'm surprised the producer doesn't play Call of Duty. We could link up.
I don't let him have time for that.
Probably not. He's a good lad, and he's still my friend. He's a good lad.
Well, that's good. Hey, stay well, Matthew. Thank you for calling.
Good night, Alan. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. There is one of our special owls, Matthew. He's had his day out with his carer, and he's looked after well. The thing is, we've got a few regular night owls, and the joy of it, I suppose, is knowing in what great hands. You know, if you are a person that needs a little bit of help here and there, they always seem to be surrounded by people who care for them, keep them on the straight and narrow, and entertain them almost on a daily basis. It's a fantastic job, and if you're in that world, absolute respect to you, because I don't think that every one of us could handle it. Going to have a quick chat with Stephen, and then maybe just a little bit Aretha. Ooh, I think so. I'm in the mood for some of that. You are with the big one. And Andrew, I was talking to a little bit earlier on about the NHS and the ill treatment he believes his partner felt. He sent a photograph of the baby. Just thought I'd send you a picture of the baby we spoke about. Absolute Stephen, the baby. Beautiful. And a little bit later on, I'll explain again to Hollywood McShane that that's what happens if men and women intertwingle. Yeah, that's what they do. He doesn't understand the full technicalities of it. However, beautiful looking baby and a hell of a result. So congratulations to you. Just wish it had come about safely in a way that you felt confident of, because it must have been a right worry for you. We are 3 clues down. I'm going to give you the 4th clue now, and you've got to tell me what thing you've got in your house that links all of the answers together. And there's a word that goes in front of all 4 answers, and you've got to ring in. The first clue, what you call a place that actually makes and distributes money. The second clue, usually kept with pans, unless your name's Paul. Third clue, Pamela from Baywatch and Gillian from X-Files share this surname. And the 4th clue, ham, bacon, gammon, pork and scratchings all come from this creature. Okay, do you have any idea what links all 4 together? There's a word you can put in front of all 4. Right, see if you can come up with it. And Dawn knows the answer, do you? There is the question. Go for it while I talk to Stephen, who is in the city of Durham. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Alan.
Oh, there he is. Hello, Stephen. I gather you've had an adventure today, I gather.
Yeah, what's with the wasp?
What's with the wasp?
What was the adventure?
Well, apparently you had an adventure with a wasp today.
It was not today. It was, maybe a few years ago.
Oh, a few years ago. So what happened then? Tell us everything.
It was on the bus.
Right.
Going into Durham on the window. I just took my shoe off and swatted it. Killed the wasp.
Oh, blimey. I bet everybody cheer.
Yeah, the ones in the back, yes, because it could have stung, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, when you get something like that on a bus, everybody's nervous and they're all thinking, stay where you are, stay where you are. Oh, it's coming this way. That's what happens with wasps, so you got to be careful with them. They've got no conscience, wasps.
That's right, the fly are only eating and stuff, drinking, no?
Yeah. I know they're supposed to do the same thing that bees do, but they've got a bad attitude, wasps. They need to be stopped and given a firm talking to, in my opinion. Anything else then, Stephen?
When Matthew went out with Ian.
Yes.
I thought it was Ian Hart, the Poetry Jam person.
No, I don't think so. No, that's Ian from Whitburn. So no, it wasn't him. But it was his carer who takes him out and keeps him safe and sound, which is good. Good stuff. Anything else, mate?
Yes, I'm against the NHS as well,
Why? What's happened?
It lets people down, and when you feel about the man with the baby and all that, and all the other things.
Has it let you down at all?
No, not so far. I dislocated my finger when I was in Blackpool. My little finger, I went a few weeks ago because I was jumping down off the Pleasure Beach ride, the carousel thing.
All right.
And I caught it on the horse next to me, the heavy metal, just
Right.
And so there has a free taxi and stuff, to get it in with gas and air in it.
Oh, really? That's shocking. I mean, was it badly cut?
No, it was dislocated. It came out of its place, so they had to put it back in with gas and air,
Dislocated this is your pinky finger?
Yes.
Oh, blimey.
Left hand, the little finger. It was sort of busy, you see, when we went to Blackpool before they broke up from school.
Right.
The last 2 days ago, so Stifford said go on the smaller ride,
Sure.
Like the horses. So if you sit on the outside, you get a faster ride. So,
right, I understand.
But when it was finished, trying to get off, jumped down, had my hand out and bang, it was on the easy.
So you dislocated your pinky, but are you all right with tea drinking? Can you use your pinky now?
Yeah, well, it's on my left hand. It's the one right at the end.
I know how it works, right? It's the one that if you keep looking, there's no more fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. We got you.
Yes, and...
well, I'm glad it's still working for you. Blimey, scary.
Yes,
okay.
I think so.
Anything else?
Janice and Walter are on very well.
That's not good news. What's the matter with them?
I don't know. They haven't. Just Walter's sister Irene said that she wasn't very well, so she hasn't been coming to One Eat Street Music Night or working in a super truck anymore at home. Yes.
Well, give them a love next time you see them anyway. If you would do that, that would be nice.
Yes.
All right. Hey, well, thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
All the best, mate. Bye-bye. And for people working in the National Health Service, I know there are many people who complain. I send you all a bit of this. Anyway, let's press on. And we have Irene McAvoy, a long-standing night owls from Wallsend. Good luck, and let's have more nights on the greatest hits of the Northeast's favourite flashing blade from a nephew and night owl listener, Lee. Thank you. And we have Linda from Barrisford. Hello, Linda. Oh, hang on. Can't hear her. She must be hiding. Let me unleash her upon an unsuspecting world. There you are. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, you were hiding round the corner, but we've got you.
Well, I tell you what, give a respect for the NHS because I'm working for them. So look out, everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
From Germany.
Blimey, you come back with Germaline, did you say? That's perfect for the National Health Service, in my opinion. We need more Germaline. That's what we're short of, Germaline. Savlon.
I always buy Germaline. I've always got it in the house.
I should think so, too. Good
it's the
girl.
best stuff ever.
It is, absolutely. We love that.
Yeah. Well, do you know, I want to go I want to tell you a little poem that I wrote.
Come on, then, let's have that then.
And this is not just for you, Alan.
Ooh, okay.
It's for everybody to say to somebody that they care for.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Sorry seems to be the hardest word, just like in the song. I'm really sorry, Alan, that everything went wrong. I thought things over and come to the conclusion that we'd been special friends. Surely it would be so very sad if things came to an end. So I'm truly sorry, Alan, if I've hurt and upset you. It wasn't my intentions. I can assure you this is true.
Ah, that's nice. And you've never upset me, Linda.
No, I know I have.
No, you haven't. Nah, not really.
It's been probably 6 2 3, hasn't it?
I think that's probably closer to the truth, definitely. I would never, ever worry about stuff like that. When you're in your family, you don't have to say you're sorry. I mean, we're good.
No, but if sorry goes a long way.
No, that's true. You're quite right. It does. Absolutely. Anything else, then, Linda?
Yes.
What's that?
Ian and I are doing a CD.
Oh, wow.
And it's for Water Aid.
Right,
And my song that I made, Happy 18th Birthday.
Oh, brilliant,
That's going, all the cash is going to cash for kids.
Oh, that's a nice...
It goes viral, Alan.
Oh, I bet it does as well.
I hope it does.
I'm itching already.
And last week you had a bit of teething problems.
Oh, see, I'm some, yeah.
Alan, I'm going to have teething problems because I've got to have all my teeth taken out.
Oh, why? What's the matter?
I've got gum disease, chronic gum disease.
Oh, no.
And that's where all my pain's coming from. And says me crazy and mad.
So, I mean, for a little while you're going to be a bit gummy then?
I'm going to be... I won't be long, gummy.
No, yeah, but it's not long. Then they get your brand new teeth coming.
I'm not worried, Alan.
No.
That's just...
You're going to be knocked out.
I go to a clinic anyway.
Great. I mean, they'll knock you out. You'll not know a thing that's happening.
No, I'm
wake up
going to
and
be brave and have an injection.
Good.
One taken out after the other.
Right. Well, you see, that's it. Then you wake up, it's all done, and you've just got to wait till you get your new foofs in.
That's right.
Smashing.
And I'm not worried, Alan.
No, don't be.
Because I've been through so much.
You have indeed.
And
you deserve a bit of...
I lost my life a few weeks ago.
I know, I heard this. And you deserve a bit of good fortune. So let this be the brand new beginning.
I keep the face, because the face works as well.
There you go, then.
What was it? And there's so much trouble in the world, and I wish all the night owls and all the people in the world, I wish them well.
That's a lovely, perfect way to bring the show in, Linda. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Alan.
All the
best.
best.
Germany.
Hey, have a lovely time. Try and give us a call when you're there.
I'll try my best.
All right, bless you. Thank you. Now, just rapidly before we take our leave, Paul Weller and the Jam. We played the Jam last week, and we thought, gonna have to play some more of that. Blimey. Well, here's me talking to him about said band.
The Jam, of course, had a unique sound.